Take you to LaGrange, where police have arrested a man they say shot. Take you to LaGrange, where police have arrested a man they say shot and killed two people, then tried to make their deaths look like an accidental fire. It happened on Fendick Street. That's where we find Fox 5's Joy Dukes, who is live with the details. Joy, a lot to uncover here.
Yeah, Eric, talk about the plot thickening. This investigation started as a fatal fire case, but it has now since turned into a murder investigation, a full-blown homicide, they say, that happened here at this home on Fendick Street last Saturday. Now, the suspect, 35-year-old Travis Rivers, is behind bars, facing multiple charges, including felony murder. Family members stopped by just a bit ago and placed these candles you can see here on the front porch. Now, LaGrange fire officials responded to a call about smoke and flames coming from this home just after 11:30 p.m. on the February the 8th. Once they got the fire under control, they found the bodies of 38-year-old Jabrica Williams and 40-year-old Roderick Kennedy inside. It didn't take them long to realize both of the victims had been shot. Within 24 hours, investigators arrested Rivers on felony probation violation and aggravated stalking charges related to this case. Police added felony murder to the list of charges he faces literally last night at 6 p.m. Now, loved ones of Kennedy say that this came as a relief, but they are still struggling to come to terms with what happened.
Love your kids as much as you can, and when they leave out the door, always tell your kids you love them, and make sure they keep their phone with them at all times, because you never know. And I'm just hurt by the situation.
Police have not yet said what the motive for this killing was or what the relationship between the victim and the suspects were, but we do know that he is in custody at the Troup County Jail. And we're also told that he had recently gotten out of jail right before all of this unfolded. That's the latest here live in LaGrange. Joy Duke.
Loved ones of two people killed in a deadly shooting in LaGrange mourning their loss. This all comes as police have arrested the man they say was behind the murders. Fox 5's Joy Dukes has the latest from where it all happened.
Yeah, loved ones of Jabrica Williams held a candlelight vigil here Saturday night outside of her home on Fendick Street. They say she and her boyfriend were shot and killed here in a jealous rage by her ex. What was initially thought to be a fatal house fire in LaGrange is now a murder investigation that leaves the hearts of two families broken.
We are hurt.
We are hurt. We're really hurt.
A devastated Lawrence Williams and Danielle Thompson Willis gathered family together on Fendick Street Saturday night to remember their daughter, 38-year-old Jabrica Williams. LaGrange police say Williams and her boyfriend, 40-year-old Roderick Kennedy, were both found shot to death inside her burning home just before 11:30 p.m. February 8th, when a call came in about a structure fire.
He was shot and he was burned from his chest and he was burned in his back.
Sarah Kennedy, Roderick's mother, says she recalled hearing the sirens just up the road from her home, but didn't know it was her son whose life was in danger.
He was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's hurting me so bad. They just didn't have to do it the way they did it.
Within 24 hours of the fire, investigators arrested 35-year-old Travis Rivers on felony probation violation and aggravated stalking charges related to this case. Police added felony murder to the list of charges on Friday night. Williams' family tells Fox 5 she had just ended an abusive relationship with Rivers, who'd recently gotten out of jail.
You should have took her alive. For what? If I leave you, just leave me alone.
Though both families say the arrest came as a relief, they are still struggling to come to terms with what happened to Williams and Kennedy, who are both known amongst loved ones as the life of the party. Both Kennedy and Williams' funerals are set for this Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively. Now, again, Rivers faces a number of charges, including felony murder, aggravated assault, stalking, and several others. Right now, he's being held at the Troup County Jail without bond.
Wow. Jeez. Eesh. Yikes. Yikes. Whew. A lot going on today, man. Hit the like, man. Smash that like. Sponsor the show. Y'all are the commercials, man. Remember, y'all are the commercials. Y'all are our Coca-Cola and our Nike, man. Y'all sponsor the show, man. YouTube don't give us nothing, man. Y'all sponsor the show. Shout out to Pamela Henderson, man. Shout out to Gene B, man. Salute, man. We in this bitch, man. Salute to everybody in the building, man. Oh, man.
Let's go right now to John Nelson. He was a passenger on the plane. John, thank you so much for being with us. We're so glad you're okay. I mean, who would have known that you were in a plane crash a few hours ago? It's unbelievable. You have video that you recorded. We've been watching. Tell us when you first realized something was the matter.
Yeah, it was a typical flight from Minneapolis to Toronto. And we were coming in, and I did notice that the winds were super gusty. The snow had kind of blown over the runways. And so coming in, it just, it was routine, but it was noticeable that the runways were kind of in a weird condition. And when we hit, it was just a super hard, hit the ground, and the plane went sideways. And I believe we skidded on our side and then flipped over on our back, where we ended up. There was a big fireball out this left side of the plane.
Yes, I've never seen a plane do that, man. I've watched a lot of footage of different, tragedies and catastrophes and stuff like that. And I've never seen that. I've never seen a plane on its hood. That's absolutely amazing. I bet there's people who work on planes, engineers and repairmen, and people who design planes who have never seen a plane on its hood. This is one of the strangest things I've ever seen in my life. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man.
And when we got finished, it was I was upside down. Everybody else was there as well. Thankfully, everybody was okay. But we tried to get out of there as quickly as possible. And then shortly thereafter, I got done filming the video. There was another explosion, but luckily the firefighters got out of there.
They were there quickly, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So where were you seated in the plane?
I was in row 10 of the plane, so just front of the wing.
And did you see the wing come off?
No, by that point we were being tossed around. I was just trying to hold on to everything at that point.
And how did you get yourself out of your seatbelt? And did everyone stay in their seatbelts that you could tell? Was everyone hanging upside down? Had anyone slipped out of their seatbelts?
Yeah, I mean, it was mass chaos. I was upside down. The lady next to me was upside down. We kind of let ourselves go and fell to hit the ceiling, which is surreal feeling. And then everybody was just like, get out, get out, get out. We could smell jet fuel. Even now I smell like jet fuel. And then we just crawled out the back of the airplane. The firefighters, the EMTs were there right away.
Wow.
Was anyone injured? I mean, what did you see? We know there were some injuries. What was it like?
Chaos. There was injuries. There was hurt individuals. Yeah, I mean, it's just all the emotional roller coaster that you go through, but things you hope you don't see again, right?
How how are you feeling?
Stressed, nervous, shaky still.
Sorry, John, you cut out for just a second. I was asking you
Sorry.
how you felt, and you'd said that
Oh,
you're feeling really shaky. And we can pick that up from you. You must be very,
yeah.
very stressed from this.
Yeah, a lot of stress. It's amazing that we're still here. So
Yeah.
hope to not do that again.
And it really is amazing, and that's what experts have been telling us. When you landed with the hard landing and went to the side, and then the plane was upside down, did that all happen very quickly? And what did that physically feel like for you as you were being tossed around?
Yeah, I mean, it's it happens so quickly, right? There's this like giant like pop crack, it's this like super loud bang kind of thing happens, and then everything just goes literally sideways, and it happens so fast that I just remember like kind of pulling myself in and trying not to hit my head against anything. And luckily our flight attendants and everything were helpful for us. So they are signaling me that I do need to move on. But is there anything else?
Just really quickly, do you know why the plane flipped? Do you know did it feel like it dipped one way or the other with the wing?
I don't know. I'm no expert on that one. I will let them figure it out. It feels like snow, wind, hard landing, all of it together.
And have you talked to your family? Are you going to see them?
I'll see them hopefully tomorrow.
Oh, John, that's not soon enough, but I'm so glad you're
I
going
know.
to see them. I'm so glad that you're
Thank
with
you.
us. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
It's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen this in my life. And the fact that no one died, man, praise Jesus. Hamada Bosha.
Thank you.
Thank you. I do want to bring in now Aaron Murphy. He's a commercial pilot, a flight instructor, and he's with us tonight. Hear some of what John was saying there in that interview. Were you able to hear that?
I heard John's words loud and clear, and there's nothing quite as harrowing as listening to someone's first account of a situation such as this, where you've walked away from something that you were probably sure it was the end. And I'm so happy that so many people walked away from this one. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I know you say that this was a completely routine flight until the very final seconds before landing. It seems like that's what we've heard, maybe kind of gusty. We heard that from John. Another passenger said he felt like it was very normal. Can you talk to us, though, about what wind conditions were like and what pilots would have been dealing with as they were landing here?
Absolutely, Brianna. Cut me off if you need to. I tend to drone on a little bit about these things. This is an environmental factors accident today, which will also have layers of human factors and procedure and training. Every single accident has those three things in them always. Very demanding, very challenging conditions today at the Pearson Airport. We had winds from the numbers that I saw around the time of the arrival, 270 at 25, gusting to 40 to 35. I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few gusts that got in there over 45, maybe even 50 knots, just at the time when the RJ was touching down, which would be that very critical moment in the phase of flight for sure.
And so the snow component, with the snow over the runways, and it was even visible to passengers, what kind of difficulty does that pose?
The Pearson equipment, the snow removal equipment at Pearson would have been out probably for 4 days straight, because we've had something like I think we've had 25 to 30 inches or more of snow. That doesn't sound like a lot of snow for a lot of people, in other places in North America, but those equipment operators would have been going around and around the runways trying to make those runways as safe as possible. And I would expect that in the very last seconds of landing, there could have been a strong gust which would have brought quite a bit of blowing snow across the runway, possibly limiting the pilot's view of the runway while they were landing in the very final seconds of touchdown, maybe the last 20 or even 10 seconds. So environmental factors are playing a large role in this one for sure.
Yeah, and their reports to investigators will be critical to see certainly what they experienced. Aaron Murphy, thank you so much. We really appreciate your insights.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Everybody hit that like button, man. Let's see what the people are saying about this, man. I mean, I feel like she did a good job. I mean, like, the guy just got out of a plane crash, man. He probably superstitious now. He probably don't want to say much because he probably hella superstitious. That'll make you superstitious. You probably don't know what to say. You got a plane crash, you probably think you're going to be all poignant and thoughtful, and reflective. But really, you just like, oh, shit. Thank you, Jesus. This is just between me and you, God. Whatever you ask me to say, I'll say it, God. That's a religious. You talking about some religious people. All these people are hella religious now, man. Shout out to my man Herman, man. Herman in the building. Salute to you, Herman. Herman in the building. They blaming this stuff on Trump, man. U.S. Flight 43819 of Delta Airlines crash lands upside down in Toronto, marking the 8th plane crash in 20 days since Trump Musk fired the FAA and ATC. Two things. This flight crashed in Canada, and that's wherever the plane lands, wherever the plane drops, that's where the crash happened. That's who gets credit for the crash. When Lockerbie, when that plane blew up over Lockerbie, that plane wasn't headed to Lockerbie, Ireland. That plane just happened to blow up and land in Lockerbie. So they call it, that's what they call it. Listen, another thing. Most of these small plane crashes happen all the time. These little teeny plane crashes where these Cessnas and these other small planes crash, those happen all the time. Okay? You got a lot of inexperienced pilots. You got a lot of planes that haven't been, maintenance well. You have, just smaller planes, react differently to weather than bigger planes. So there's a lot of crashes with smaller planes. What we're looking for is what the main thing is commercial passenger planes. Delta, Southwest, American Airlines, JetBlue, Spirit, Frontier, Alaska Airlines, Emirates, all this stuff. Those are the ones, the passenger planes. When we think about plane crashes, that's the ones we think about. these other little planes that are flying around all the time, a lot of those, they have crashes almost every week, at least once a week, at least. Many times, multiple times a week. So they're attributing those to Trump when they happen all the time. These people don't know that. These people are morons. So we went 16 years without a plane crash. Trump guts the FAA, and we've had 5 in less than 30 days. And nobody's protesting. Nothing has changed. Y'all are just letting this happen. All these plane crashes since Trump fired 3,000 FAA employees and air traffic controllers. And we already did that the other day. We like it just in December. In December alone, it was like 20 plane crashes in America. And they were all smaller planes. But just in December, there were 20 plane crashes. These little planes crash all the time. If you're blaming this plane crash in Toronto on President Trump, you're the problem. No president has had more plane crashes in their first month in office than Donald Trump. And this is a representative. He should know better than that, man. And say something stupid. Everybody hit the like button, man. We dispelling myths, man. We dispelling myths, man. We not even playing with y'all, man. We're dispelling myths. We out here dispelling myths, man. We out here dispelling myths. Nobody does it like this channel, man. Let me show you this, man. Everybody hit the like button. Take the $7 challenge. Shout out to CA. She says, hello, nation. Hello, CA. Take this, man. Read that, man. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Everybody, you can thank me, Republicans, man. Y'all can thank me, Republicans, man. That's why y'all got to share this, man. You don't even have to. Listen, that's why you got to share these videos, man. They're so informative and so educational, man. Press 1 if you learn something every episode, man, that you never learned before. Press 1 if you learn something you never knew before every episode. We're in 2025. Trump been president for 3.5 weeks. Ever since Trump fired all the DEI employees at the FAA, man, shit been going crazy, man. See, Republicans suck at public. They're dreadful at playing the game. Even though Trump is an aberration. Trump is an anomaly. But Republicans in general are just awful at playing the game, right? whether they're Twitter Republicans, Reddit Republicans, TikTok Republicans, whatever forum they're on, they get their asses kicked. Yeah, man. Man, I tell you, man. Annual airline deaths more than double in 2024. Per Aviation Safety Network. So it would make sense that whatever's going on, let's just say that something's going on, right? And, planes is dropping out of the sky left and right. Let's just say that, even though we know that that's not really true. But let's just say that was true, right? Let's pretend. Let's play their game. Wouldn't it be a continuation of this that started under Biden? Press 1. And wouldn't what Trump did be a move to try to stem the tide, to try to reverse this course that was set under Biden? Yo. Damn, CA. Jeez. Yeah, man. So we're gonna move on from that, man. We're gonna move on from this story, man. Let's see what else we're gonna talk about tonight, man. Let's see.
And a man is in the hospital after getting shot in a drive-by shooting that's happening in Hickory Hill. WRG's Kamisha Wilborn spoke to people living in the area who say this is the second time this week that gun violence has targeted their community.
The neighborhood is deteriorating.
It was a long, sleepless night for this man living on Birch.
The neighborhood is deteriorating. They speaking in code, man. They out here dog whistling, man. We got a lot of new people here in the chat, man. Can anybody decode this comment for any of the new people? The new people might not be able to understand what's being said right here. So if y'all could decode this, man, I'd really appreciate it. Everybody hit the like button, man. Let's see if we get some more supporters, man. Let's see if we get some more people take the $7 challenge, man.
The neighborhood is deteriorating.
It was a long, sleepless night for this man living on Birch Run Lane in Hickory Hill. He doesn't want to be identified, but he says he was lying peacefully in his bed Saturday night when he heard the most disturbing noise. You're in your bedroom. What did you hear? Or
Several gunshots, a lower pitch, quicker shot fire, and a few louder, separate, like two different types of guns.
Just a few houses down from his, Memphis police say they responded to a shooting that left one man injured.
Another day, we're in bed, hunkered down, and just listen to see if the house gets hit.
According to the victim, he had just gotten dropped off at his cousin's house in the 6500 block of Birch Run Lane. As he was walking up the driveway, a vehicle reportedly pulled up and someone inside opened fire, striking the victim. According to reports, the victim ran to the back of the home where he was met by his cousin, who applied pressure to his wounds until help arrived. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition while the shooter got away.
And it makes you question where you live.
And he's not the only one in the neighborhood who feels that way. Just a few days before this shooting, police responded to another shooting just a few houses down. In that incident, police say a 2-year-old somehow got his hands on a gun and accidentally shot himself. The toddler was taken to the hospital in critical condition.
It just seems like there's too many people that doesn't care anymore.
As for the most recent shooting, police have not given a motive. Reporting for your news leader from Hickory Hill, Kwame Wilborn, WREG.
Jeez. Jeez.
We had a bold armed robbery of an armored truck crew Friday morning. Happened on Mitchell Road in Whitehaven. Look at those guys with those guns. Fox 13's Jeremy Pierre joining us live where this happened. And JP, this was bold, played out right there in broad daylight.
Yeah, broad daylight. As traffic drove down South 3rd and Mitchell, cars were moving all over the place. And let me tell you, it all took place right here at the First Horizon ATMs right here as a armored truck and an armored truck guard loaded the ATM. You can see right here in this very nerve-wracking video, you can only imagine how that armored truck guardsman felt. Now, this morning, Memphis police say all 3 of those masked men with rifles drove off in a white Nissan Altima. According to police, the men took a large amount of cash. You can see them taking those large black boxes. That's what the cash is. Investigators did manage to find the Altima shortly after the robbery. We did some digging and learned Friday's robbery is one of 2 from last week. The Memphis Police Department actually investigated in this area. Now, there are several businesses on this lot. We're right next door to the old historic Crystal Palace, for those of you who are not familiar with this area. But let me tell you, this is very scary stuff right here, because again, you see them with those long rifles, broad daylight. Of course, right now we're working to gather information as to where Memphis police are in this investigation. However, if you have any information that can possibly help them, obviously these men are masked, you're urged to call the Memphis Police Department at 901 or Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Six 23, welcome back in. A heartbroken mother is still searching for answers after she got the worst news of her life. Her daughter was found dead along in the interstate. It's what some call the most horrendous scene they'd ever experienced in their life. That's in today's edition of Manhunt Monday.
I'm so sorry that this happened to her. And I honestly wish it was me instead of her, because I really want her to be here for her baby.
Sunday, February 4th, 2024 is the worst day of Kimberly Sistrunk's life. That was the day her daughter, Kelly's body was found in Marshall County, Mississippi. Sistrunk is breaking her silence and speaking publicly for the first time about the day Kelly disappeared. Sistrunk says on January 28th, Kelly left her Westwood home to make a quick trip to the store to grab some food. However, when she didn't return after several hours, Sistrunk got worried, and that worry would turn to panic when she saw Kelly's vehicle still sitting in her driveway.
Because she would never leave her baby overnight. She'll go out like young people do, but she would never leave the baby overnight.
Sistrunk called MPD, but says she was told she'd have to wait before filing a missing persons report. On February 2nd, Sistrunk filed that report, and officers started searching for Kelly. Sistrunk says she called and called, but Kelly never answered.
Her phone was dead. It was like it was off.
Sistrunk says Kelly left behind one key piece of evidence that helped police find her.
I had her tablet, and I checked her location. And I said, her location is pinging in Holly Springs.
Sistrunk called the Marshall County Sheriff's Office and met them on the scene. However, they didn't find Kelly. But the next day, deputies returned to the area and found Kelly's cell phone, her earbuds, and sadly, her body.
They asked me, did she have any tattoos? And I told them yes. She had her name tattooed on her back. And he said, well, Miss Sistrunk, it's a positive. It's Kelly.
Marshall County deputies say Kelly had been shot multiple times. Her body had been left in a wooded area along Highway 122 outside of Holly Springs.
It is one of the most horrendous scenes I've seen in my many years of investigation.
Deputies say they have a person of interest in Kelly's case, but not enough evidence to charge anyone. If you have any information about Kelly Sistrunk's death, you're urged to call the Marshall County, Mississippi Crime Stoppers at 855-473-4658. Your tip could help put a dangerous criminal in jail and some cash in your pocket. Remember, all calls are confidential.
And if you
Wow. Ugh.
What's up, Hawk?
What's cracking, man?
Chilling.
Oh man. Let's see what else is going on, man. Oh, Glider's in the building. Glider's in the
Story
building.
you'll only see on Local 10.
Glider Kangs.
More than a dozen times while driving on Miami Beach. Tonight, we hear from those victims. Local 10's crime specialist Bridget Matters. Story you'll only see on Local 10. Two men were shot at more than a dozen times while driving on Miami Beach. Tonight, we hear from those victims. Local 10's crime specialist Bridget Matters live on Miami Beach with the exclusive. Bridget.
And it's truly a miracle that these two were not seriously hurt. They say that while they were driving,
That's right up your alley, Hawk.
randomly attacked, a man shooting off as many as 17 shots at their car.
This is the mugshot for 27-year-old Mordecai Braffman.
That's the juice crew.
Mordecai Braffman.
He actually resembles a kid I grew up with, a little juice crew kid I was friends with. He looks exactly like him. Like his cousin.
And he's accused of shooting at two men in Miami Beach Saturday evening.
There was a truck passing next to him. Yeah, they know. Right on him. Boom, 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 boom. They just randomly started shooting it.
Ari Rive was shot in the shoulder. He spoke to us with help from his cousin to translate. He says he and his father were randomly attacked while driving off Alton Road, the two visiting from Israel. Video shows their car riddled with bullets. Police say 17 shots were fired.
He put the window down from the driver's seat and just blasted.
They do. I have heard that it's hard to tell the difference between Palestinians and Israelis.
Yeah, if you watch like an Israeli TV show, I forget the name of it, but it was about like some like Mossad guy fighting against the Hamas, like the actors playing the Israelis versus the Arabs, you can't really tell. They all look ethnically ambiguous.
Yeah. All of these Semitics, man. But I would think these guys, just from a United States American point of view, these some desert demons, man. And that guy's this is what I when I think of a Jew, I'm thinking of this guy. I'm not thinking of those. I think those people are desert demons, man.
You're thinking of Mordecai?
Yeah, this goddamn Abdullah and fucking goddamn Sharif right here, fucking goddamn desert demons.
Police say 17 shots were fired.
He put the window down in the driver's seat and just blasted them.
Ari was hit in the shoulder. The bullet still lodged in his body following the attack.
After they took off, he tried shooting them from the back of their car. Bullet went through right next to him, right next to his ear, because he was the driver. And he was holding his dad's head because he thought the dad got shot in the head.
Surveillance video shows the men trying to get help from a nearby business. The suspect was quickly arrested. In the arrest form, it says Braffman told detectives he saw 2 Palestinians and shot and killed both. The victims and the suspect did not know one another. Father and son say it was a miracle neither were seriously hurt.
He's saying God gave him life as a gift. And he's still alive, so he's happy.
The two say they're thankful for a security guard at one of those businesses that helped them and called 911. As for the suspect, he's facing a second-degree attempted murder charge. We're live in Miami Beach tonight. Bridget Matter, Local 10 News.
Turning now to tragedy in Tamarack, a father accused of killing his ex-wife and father-in-law before kidnapping his own child. He now faces additional charges.
And we're also learning more about the victims tonight. Court documents showing that the parents had a troubled marriage with years of domestic violence issues.
We have live team coverage tonight as we're now hearing from loved ones of those killed.
And our coverage starts with Local 10's Terrell Forney. He is live in Tamarack with emotional reaction from the family. Terrell.
And this entire situation sparked a statewide Amber Alert. In the end, that 4-year-old girl was found unharmed, her father placed into cuffs and taken to jail. And tonight we are also hearing from a man who lost not just his brother, but also his niece in this triple shooting. He says it feels like his entire family is living a nightmare.
No words can explain it. I'll never get to talk to my brother again.
David Ponzer was staying in his daughter's Tamarack home to solely protect her from an estranged husband. But on Sunday morning, the 64-year-old was shot dead on the back patio. Investigators say at the hands of Nathan Gingles, who violated the terms of a restraining order. Gunshots and a woman's screams could be heard on this surveillance video after Mary Gingles ran to the doors of neighbors for help. And Nathan trailing behind with their 4-year-old daughter, Seraphine, in tow for the terror.
She's behind him, and you could just hear her pleading for her dad to stop. Daddy, stop, don't do it.
It would all end with 3 lives lost on this residential block, including Mary and her father.
I'm so sad for my brother and my niece and the other gentleman that lost his life, wasn't even involved in anything. He just answered his door and was shot.
35-year-old Andrew Farron was that good Samaritan who was also killed as he too tried to protect that woman from the gunman. Andrew's uncle.
Wow. I guess the woman went running, banged on his door. He opened the door and he got shot by the husband. I can't really fault this guy, man. He made a split-second decision. Many of us would have done that. Sometimes there's nothing you can do, man. You're human. You interact with other people. Sad. This is sad, man. I feel bad for this fucking guy, man.
Door and was shot.
35-year-old Andrew Farron was that good Samaritan who was also killed as he too tried to protect that woman from the gunman. Andrew's uncle speaking with Local 10.
Who lost a nephew, who lost his son,
So it's very, very important that domestic violence is taken seriously.
On Monday, divers with the Broward Sheriff's Office searched a nearby canal where we're told they recovered the actual murder weapon used in the crime.
I want justice so bad for Mary and David and the other victims.
So Frank speaking from his home in Colorado. Meanwhile, we know that little Seraphine, that 4-year-old girl, she is now in the custody of the Department of Children and Families, and her father is now facing a series of charges to include armed burglary, child abuse, child neglect, and kidnapping. We are live in Tamarack tonight. Terrell Forney, Local 10 News.
Just so heartbreaking, Terrell.
Wow.
Well, thanks a lot. Our live team coverage continues with Local 10's Sanella Sabovic live in Fort Lauderdale tonight.
She has more on the shocking new details being revealed about the suspect. And Sanella, what do we know so far?
Well, Janice and Calvin, court records show a troubled marriage with a lengthy history of domestic violence. The suspect's estranged wife one day feared that he would kill her. Sadly, that happened yesterday. Nathan Gingles was arrested. He is here at the Broward County Main Jail, where he's facing several first-degree murder charges. 43-year-old Nathan Allen Gingles in handcuffs, wearing a max custody inmate jumpsuit, appeared before a judge today for a dependency hearing in regards to his 4-year-old daughter, Seraphine Gingles.
You have no contact with the child. You understand, sir?
The hearing comes a day after Gingles is accused of kidnapping the child, killing her mother, who is his estranged wife, Mary Catherine Gingles, along with her father and a neighbor in Tamarack Sunday morning. Gingles was not supposed to have any contact with his child or estranged wife. Court documents show a troubled marriage with domestic violence. Mary filed for divorce last February, claiming she was terrified of Nathan. She also filed an injunction for protection against domestic violence. Nathan is charged of violating that order.
That's one rough looking glass. Oh shit! This is the killer right here. Where's he at? You just saw him. Damn. Hold on.
Nathan is charged of violence.
There you go. God damn, man.
Angry guy.
Yeah, you can't tell he was gonna kill you. Can't tell he was gonna kill you, white lady. I could have told you that, man. Look at this guy, man. His eyes, man.
I'd be mad too if my name was Gingles.
Yeah, man. That's why he did it.
Violating that order. In Mary's own words, in her victim statement, she wrote, "He's saying that he was going to shoot me and there was nothing I could do about it." Elsewhere in the injunction, it states, "Because of Nathan's psychotic behavior, his multiple threats, his drug use, his many silenced firearms, and my impending divorce action, I'm afraid Nathan will kill me and my daughter." Mary's family members are devastated. Her uncle believes the system failed his niece and great niece.
Yes, sir. There's a huge paper trail. Nathan had violated his restraining order multiple times and entered the house. The law let them down. It was all preventable, 100% preventable.
And for now, the little girl remains in state custody. Gingles is expected to make another court appearance on March 5th. Reporting live out of Fort Lauderdale this evening, Sanella Sabovic.
Wow.
Turning now to tragedy in Tamarack.
And welcome to Picks on Politics, everybody. I am Dan Manarino, and Mayor Adams and his relationship with the Trump administration dominating the headlines. The first storyline, new immigration policies. And now there is a lot to unpack, okay? So let's break it down for you. This week, President Trump revoked $80 million in FEMA funds from New York City meant to cover hotel costs for migrants. Mayor Adams is trying to get some of those funds back and talked about that during his meeting with the border czar, Tom Honan, in their meeting on Thursday. Following that meeting, Mayor Eric Adams announced that he will allow immigration officials to operate at Rikers Island. And then, of course, there are the major developments with the legal case against the mayor. So let's get into that. Earlier this week, the Department of Justice ordered the corruption charges against Adams to be dropped, not on merit, but because the case interfered with the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and the upcoming mayoral
guy right here,
they could come back.
This Negro, he's like the activist, but he's next in line to be mayor if if Kathy Hochul removes Eric Adams.
No
An
shit.
activist. Yes, an activist. That somehow they set it up like that in New York.
1 week. And there's more. New York Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez now calling for the mayor to resign. Now I'm sitting down with the man second in line to the mayor, public advocate Jumaane Williams, and he is going on the record.
Public advocate. In New York, the public advocate is next in line to be not. He don't have to run. He just gets to be the mayor if the mayor gets kicked out or dies or whatever. Isn't that crazy?
We all know what he's going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Williams, welcome back to Picks and Politics. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
We'll get into why you invited you here, was to talk about your reelection as public advocate, if that comes to it, because there's so many balls in the air. And to be full disclosure, I'm taping this on a Friday afternoon, right? So let's begin with the news of the week, and really just beginning with the charges that were supposed to be dropped that haven't been yet, with this key phrase of without prejudice, meaning they could come back, right? When all of that happened, what was your reaction?
You know, I want to bring us back to maybe even a year ago, when everything we were told is that this investigation doesn't even center around the mayor. And from that time period,
that's a
everything
strategy.
we heard has been misinformation or lies. It is a painful space to be in. I just got to tell you, as a black man who's a citywide elected official, this happened to another black.
As a black man, yo, what the fuck?
Wait, so he's going to defend him? Because I thought he wanted to be mayor. I thought that would kind of be that angle.
Yeah, but he's doing that as the black man shit. That's black people. You gotta stop doing that. That should be a fireable offense as a black man. What do you mean as a
No bullshit.
mayor of the whole city? You're the mayor of the whole city. What are you telling me as a black man? We elected you mayor, black man. So all the black man shit is over with. We elected you mayor, black man. Or we elected you public advocate. Well, they didn't elect him, but you the public advocate, motherfucker. You gonna be the mayor if Kathy Hochul removes Eric Adams. You gonna be the mayor.
He's implying that the charges are spurious and that there's no merit to
as
them.
a black man, they put the charges on Eric Adams not because he's a black man, but because he wasn't going with the program.
Well, yeah, and he's just corrupt. Like he did shit. Anyway, everybody in New York's probably got shit.
Yeah, but I mean that little shit they charging them with, that ain't every mayor does that. Like every mayor's gonna go to prison if that's the case.
Gotcha.
Taking fucking upgrades on fucking plane seats and shit. Like, come on.
Well, he was a cop though,
from
so
that time
cops
period-
do shit, you know.
Yeah. I got you.
You know, I want to bring us back to maybe even a year ago, when everything we were told is that this investigation doesn't even center around the mayor. And from that time period, everything we heard has been misinformation or lies. It is a painful space to be in. I just got to tell you, as a black man who's a citywide elected official, this happened to
How many
another
more
black man
times
who's
can you fit that in?
A citywide, more powerful citywide elected official. So it's painful to watch this and to have to respond to it. But it is very clear that this mayor.
So by that logic, if it was a Bangladeshi mayor this was happening to, or a fucking Hispanic mayor that this was happening to, or a Japanese American mayor that this happened to, this wouldn't affect you in the same way. That's crazy. That's absolutely bananas that they get to just say that in public. No one else can say that.
They're special.
He cannot be the mayor of this city. He cannot govern this city with charges held over his head. The quid pro quo is written in black and white from the DOJ. Daniel Sassoon from the Southern District made it even more explicit that this is what they wanted. And the meetings for the quid pro quo are happening as we speak.
So Adams' attorney, Alex Spiro, came out with a statement denying that this was a quid pro quo. You disagree?
I mean, I have tried to be measured how I talked about this. But when it comes to black and white, when the DOJ themselves wrote a letter saying we didn't look at any of the evidence, so this is not about guilt or innocence, But what we are saying is we need you to help us with some of our priorities like immigration. And by the way, we can return these charges back to you at any point in time. And then you have Daniel Sassoon and others who, by the way, are Trump appointees.
Yeah.
These are the most conservative. She interned for Anton Scalia. And they resigned and said, I cannot do this. And every time they try to give it to someone else, they say, we're resigning because we cannot do this. And then you see the thing that they're saying was quid pro quo actually happening. And Daniel Sassoon laid out that they were going to do a superseding, laid out that the mayor's team himself were bargaining for this quid pro quo. That's not me, but my job is to make sure I'm focused on what's best for the city of New York. And what's best for the city of New York is not this mayor, because it is clear he's making decisions not in the best interest of New York. And it's been like that for a while. And it's very hard, painful for me.
Support for the mayor is now waning, right? I hear it in what you're saying right now. He's facing criticism from the Speaker of the City Council. He's facing criticism from the
Why is he
Democratic leader of the
twitching
House,
like
King
that?
Jeffries. Al Sharpton raising some questions as well. I asked the mayor about some of those folks who are asking if he can do his job. I want you to listen to what he had to say here. Have these big-time leaders expressing doubt. How do you ensure, New Yorker, that you can lead the city?
Well, Dan, if you want to know where a person is going, look at where he traveled from. Dan, people have been covering me for years. Remember, I was a police officer. Police commissioners determined my ability to be hired or fired. I was extremely critical in the police department, even with that threat hanging over my head. That's why I cut my teeth in showing how I would stand up for this city.
Okay, so he says he can lead. Should he resign? Do you think, as public advocate right now, that he should resign?
Well, we should put out a statement saying I would call for him to resign, but we would require him show a care about New York City over himself that he's been unable to do.
Okay.
But I will make it clear.
Fucking yes or no.
He cannot be the mayor of this city and govern this city the way it needs to be governed. This is a national story. People are looking at this. If this can happen to the largest city, one of the most powerful mayor, where the Trump White House can just say, I'm going to make you do whatever I need to do, then what is to say about any other mayor in this country?
But does
shout out to Muramasa, man. Muramasa says Jermaine Williams is anti-cop. It would be terrible, mayor. Terrible for mayor with his radical ideas. Yeah, this guy's a nut. We already covered him a little while ago. He's a nutcase. What's up?
Yo, so this dude right here, Jermaine Williams, he's actually saving Eric Adams right now.
Oh, well, how?
Because Kathy Hochul hates this motherfucker with her every gut, right? So listen, he ran for governor, believe it or not, bro. His campaign was a shit show. He got some commercials, some ads for his governor race.
I'd love to see him.
It's horrible. So anyway, Kathy Hochul hates him because he ran against her and he was smearing the shit out of her during the whole campaign. So while she doesn't want Eric Adams to be mayor, she will never hand the mayor shit to this dude. Never.
Let's see.
My name is Jermaine Williams.
Adams is smart then. He put him in that position
Throughout
for
this
a
race,
reason.
I've received the support of so many amazing people and groups. Elected officials, activists, advocacy groups, and community leaders. Without these people, I wouldn't be here. Without these people, I wouldn't have accomplished the things I've worked on over my decade as an activist elected official. I am proud of and grateful for their endorsements. But on February 26th, the endorsement that matters most is yours.
Notice how he said activist,
My son has
elected official. The activist came first.
They got him doing some. They had him doing some shit that was so dirty. Like I think he was like going to clubs and shit on duty, and like partying. He's doing the same shit that Eric Adams was doing. You remember when Eric Adams first got on? That they were saying he was like partying through the nights and being a celebrity. This dude was doing the exact same shit. Like, yeah, it's just
my son has always helped people in need. In city council, he passed legislation reforming stop and frisk protecting LGBT individuals.
Reforming, stopping, frisking, repression, LG. Jesus Christ.
Two horrible things.
Hey, I'm really looking forward to what his father has to say. What his father's ringing endorsement is like.
Jesus Christ. Don't hold your breath.
And defending a woman's right to choose. As public
Oh my
advocate,
God.
Jamani has a
He's an anti-police. He's
for 3.
pro-abortion, pro-LGBTQ. Jesus Christ. And he's literally Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Yeah. There's no way Trump could allow this guy to be the mayor. That's probably what the reason Trump and Tom Homan did all this stuff. Because there's no way this guy can, if this guy's the mayor, even for 4 months, because they're having an election soon, right?
Yeah. The election is coming up in not November, but is it
summer, right? Is it
it's
summer?
it's a summer. It's a summer. Yeah, it's summer.
Yeah, so it's coming up soon. So yeah, they're yeah, but you can't have this guy in office for a day, man. Jeez.
In New York, they love gay black communists.
Yeah, but still, like,
this dude ain't even gay. This dude is like, bro, this dude is whatever will get him elected or whatever it is.
The shapeshifter.
Yeah, bro, he with it. He's a horrible, horrible person, bro.
Wow.
plan to address our housing crisis and the inequity of our criminal justice system. Jamani has been an advocate for the people of New York City his whole life. On February 26th, let's make it official.
My name is Jamani Williams, and I authorize this message.
Big news day for New York City. Mayor Eric Adams was indicted on 5 federal charges of bribery and fraud after allegedly collecting illegal campaign donations from the Turkish government. You hear that, what's your response?
It's obviously very concerning. I mean, we are always very concerned about foreign interference in our life. We need to correct this ship and get New York City back on track. So I think it's in the best interest for the mayor to step aside so we can have a special election in 80.
Sitting mayor of New York City to be indicted. If he does step down, which you are a proponent of, his replacement would be New York City public advocate Jamani Williams. What do you make of that replacement?
I think it's terrible for the city. I think Jamani Williams is a far left radical. I think that he will be on policies even worse than this current mayor, if you could imagine that. But we're really left with little choice at this point. We know that there'll be a special election required within 80 days. And so New Yorkers will really have an opportunity in a nonpartisan election to select somebody new. And hopefully we can get somebody who has a good background in management, has a good background on fiscal responsibility and public safety, can really get this city back on track, because it's suffering in so many ways. We have this mass illegal immigration crisis. We have billions of dollars in taxpayer money going to citizens of other countries instead of the New Yorkers that are in need right here in our communities. We have our education system is not doing well at all, and we are not giving our children what they need to succeed. And we have all sorts of other issues, right? From litter to transportation that's crumbling, to streets that are not being paid. I mean,
So she's not a fan. That's crazy. She's not a fan of Jamani.
Well, at least we're teaching the
My
kids
son has
about
always
gay
helped
people.
Jeez.
That's good, right?
I guess so, man. This guy's a nut. Listen to this guy.
You start to notice that things are different when you're black than when you're not. Some of the things you have to
The fuck was that?
You start to notice that things are different when you're black.
You could say the same thing about fucking anything.
You start to notice that things are different when you're black than when you're not. Some of the things you have to deal with, whether your interactions with police, people following you in the stores.
Nothing like that ever happens. Black people go in the stores with trash bags and blow them up and walk out. What the fuck are you talking about, dog?
He's either lying or saying useless things.
Black people getting followed around stores. Really? That's such gaslighting, man. That's such gaslighting. That never fucking happens, man. Never. If you were to follow a black person around the store or follow them out of the store while they're taking a bunch of the products out, you'll get fired. You'll be the one that's fired because you weren't supposed to follow them.
And if they whip out their phone and record you,
we've done those stories, man, where if black people go in the stores, load up, they're walking to the car, the security guard comes out, tries to approach them, and then the next thing you know, the security guard's fired because he shouldn't have. He wasn't supposed to do that. He was supposed to just watch. This is such gaslighting, man.
I'm asking people for the time and they clutch their purse. Those kind of things.
When you're asking people for the time and they clutch their purse, who asks someone for the time now? Everyone has a cell phone. Who asks for the time?
yeah, these talking points are like old.
This is crazy. This is crazy what he's talking about. How he sees the world, or how he's presenting the view of the world from these stupid ass interactions, these dumbass small time. The world is so big. Being the mayor of New York is such a big thing, and he sees the world through. Man, if I had somebody for the time, they're gonna clutch their purse. Who, when, where, how, why? Like, so you live in a world where, say, bro, what time is it? Like, come on, man. You ain't asking no niggas what time it is. Ain't no nigga gonna clutch their purse when you ask them the time. So you basically saying old white ladies. Okay.
You start to notice that things are different when you're black than when you're not. Some of the things you have to deal with, whether your interactions with police, people following you in the stores. Remember asking people for the time and they clutch their purse. Those kind of things. You start to notice the differences.
Community Safety Act emerges at a time in New York City when there was a plethora of police brutality. There was a lot of discriminatory behaviors and practices, especially in communities of color, but around New York City.
Yo, niggas is annoying, man. Niggas are annoying.
A plethora of police brutality. Like someone wrote that down for him.
Police brutality is policing. Policing is police brutality. They're the same thing. Policing and police brutality are the same thing in the black community.
Over-policing has been standard policy.
Over-policing.
As long as we have policing. It just manifested at this time with just a ridiculous amount of stop, question, and frisk.
Stop and frisk grew massively from about 100,000 up to more than 700,000 stops. And there aren't 700,000 young men of color in New York City.
And they would clearly target those of us who are a darker hue, a little differently, to just be stopped, frisked.
This legislation was timely, but it was overdue.
Something has to happen. I felt that this was something I really wanted for folks. I was always incensed of how people were policing my community. And when I came in, I felt like I have to make transformational change.
We were not under any illusions that there would be any support from the mayor or the police commissioner or the other side of City Hall.
One reason I'm very proud to have.
These people suck. They're awful.
Hey, yo, I'm still in that. Policing is police brutality because that's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see that in the body cam.
Exactly. They force your hand. They do all the crime. So they do all the crime. So the police are in their communities because they're doing all the fucking violent crime, all the street level crime, and then they're assholes when it's time to interact with cops. So let's see. Let's see what else is going on.
Black and indigenous people of color.
Yeah.
Brooklyn teen wrongly accused of a fatal shooting at a parade last year is speaking out about threats that he's been experiencing. And now his family wants the NYPD to apologize for putting his image out there that is still circulating on social media. Naveen Dhaliwal has this story.
For Camden Lee, it's been 5 months of stress.
Yeah, a lot of fear, a lot, like for my life, for my family.
That's after the NYPD blasted the then 15-year-old's picture, saying he was wanted in a shooting at the West Indian Day Parade last September that killed one man and left several others injured. Camden's mother, Chichi Brock, says once the image was circulated, her son began receiving threats.
I had to move my family, all of my children away for a while.
Brock says she met with investigators and the image was taken down from NYPD social media sites. But then the NYPD mistakenly recirculated the picture in December, making her angry.
At this point, I don't have nothing to say to them. I'm just going to let my lawyer talk to them.
Her attorney, Wiley Stacklow, says to start, the NYPD needs to adopt better social media practices outlined in a recent Department of Investigations for the Inspector General report.
It put my client in a dangerous position and a slanderous position.
That DOI report says some official NYPD accounts were unprofessional and not in compliance with the city's social media policies. Further,
It's don't get me wrong, it's terrible. You know what I'm saying? What happened to that kid? But look at what's going on in the community. Look at the bigger story. Like there was a shooting at a West Indian parade. Like somebody just sprayed the crowd at a West Indian parade.
He only confident about putting his face up there for some shit like this because the guy killed had to have been like a random innocent, like a lame-o. If this was like a real shit with beef and the op was killed or some shit and he just happened not to be the shooter, he wouldn't be on the news.
Hell no.
And the news doesn't even ask the question of who is making threats. Why are they making threats?
And why was he a person of interest? Why was his picture chosen? Like, how did, like, because was he with the guys who did the shooting, but he just didn't do it? Like, let's see what else.
He was the driver, bro. He was the driver.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't technically do it. Technically. Ooh.
New at 6, the apparent leader of a cult-like group tied to several murders, including one of a Vermont Border Patrol agent, has been arrested in Maryland. Jack Lasota and Michelle Zashko were taken into custody in Allegheny County. Lasota is believed to be the leader of the Zizians and faces multiple charges. The group does not have clearly established goals, but online writings include topics like radical veganism, gender identity. Zizian has been connected to murders in Vermont, Pennsylvania, and California.
Local news
Hold
that
on.
matters.
We covered that the other day.
New at 6, the apparent leader of a...
All right, Gerard, thank you. 2 members of the cult connected to at least 6 suspicious deaths have been arrested in Maryland. Fox 45 Jeff Sable takes us through the Zizian cult and the people behind it.
Well, federal authorities recently launched a manhunt for one of the members of this group. But tonight, that manhunt is over. The leader and another member have been found right here in Maryland. Their friends say those in the cult-like group are not only highly intelligent, but also highly armed. And in the past 5 years, they've been tied to 6 killings, another attempted murder, and last month's shooting death of Border Patrol agent David Milan. The officer was shot dead in an exchange of gunfire 20 miles from the Canadian border. It happened during a traffic stop where the 2 armed women inside the vehicle are linked to the cult-like group that's accused of leaving a trail of violence from coast to coast.
This shouldn't happen to anybody, it's just such
just such a horrible thing. And
The group is made up largely of transgendered women who are vegans and are highly concerned about artificial
Transgender women. So these are men. Okay, so that makes more sense.
I
There
think
been a
there's like
bunch of women.
one girl.
One girl.
Well, you said mostly comprised, and there's 6 of them. I think that bottom right, maybe.
No, this. I think that would be the girl.
Fucking hard to tell.
That's a guy. That's a guy. That's a guy. That's a guy. You can't tell with this one. Fuck.
Jack Lasota, whose network of friends took up residence in California 5 years ago. But it wasn't long before their landlord was stabbed multiple times and later shot to death. Police believe the group is also tied to the shooting deaths of Richard and Rita Zajko, who were killed inside their Media, Pennsylvania home. Their daughter, Michelle, is also tied to the Zizians group. Federal authorities recently launched a manhunt for her
Their son, Michelle.
arrest. But in Maryland last night, officers found Zajko.
Dollars to Donuts that they offed these people just because they were like fucking conservative or voted for Trump or some dumb shit like that.
They're killing a lot of seniors, man. Fucking killing a bunch of seniors, man. I don't respect it, man. Shout out to Jack Me Off. Salute Jack Me Off, man. I got a lot of love for Jack Me Off, man. Something about Jack Me Off gives me a good feeling. He says, I did have the Angel Reese meal at did you have the Angel Reese meal at McDonald's yet? I hear Chris Ruth gonna have a Caitlin Clark. You mean Ruth Chris? Ruth Chris gonna have a Caitlin Clark meal, man.
Do you think Angel Reese eats McDonald's, Doc?
Yeah, everybody eats McDonald's, man. Sometimes when you're in a crunch, man. Yeah, I don't think people eat. She would, as an athlete, she eats it all the time, but people eat McDonald's, man. Trust me, man. When I'm traveling, man, and we stop at a lot of McDonald's, it's a bunch of people eat. There's no shortage of McDonald's customers, man. Trust me. Let's see. Superstar SS says, eyewitness account of a son man kneeled by cops in Flowood, Mississippi, disproven by a single photo. I just sent you the email. Okay, great. Thank you, man. We won't get to that next. Salute to Shut Up, I Can Cook. She says, I only dated Yoruba Nigerians. They cops never bothered them. Why? They were not doing illegal things. Yeah, facts. It's like, this whole stop and frisk bullshit. Like they just going down, like they just stopping no, they know who the fuck they're stopping, and they know where to fucking look, what certain areas to look for these niggas at. And usually when they stop them, they got a fucking gun on them on some drugs or some shit. That's the part they don't like to talk about. Shout out to Shut Up, I Can Cook. Muramasa says, now we're seeing a bunch of Sun teens carrying firearms and shooting in the city. That raise the age law is a disaster.
Well, it's actually working perfectly as intended.
Why you say that?
Well, they know that the kids are going to start shooting each other, so they're going to protect them. They want chaos.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that, or maybe they just succumbing to woke fucking bullshit. They bending the knee, man. They cowards.
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I know.
True and true.
Along with leader Jack Lasota. They were arrested in Allegheny County, where they're charged with trespassing and possession of a handgun. The circumstances surrounding their arrest are still unknown, but authorities hope questions about their past will soon become far more clear.
We have to stop this. We have to stop this.
Right now, the two defendants have only been charged with misdemeanors here in Maryland. They're due in court tomorrow morning. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson.
Let's see. This guy sent me this thing. All right. Flowwood. Salute to everybody out there, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Salute to all you guys. Flowwood. Flowwood Police Chief releases details about shootout that killed suspect and wounded officers. Look at these situations, man. Fucking sun turns always in a fucking jam, man.
Chief did not mince words. He is angry about a witness who appeared in one of our stories last night who claimed that he saw Flowwood police shoot a suspect in the back who was trying to surrender. Today, he gave us a look at those dash cam images and an inside look at what he says really happened. A hail of bullets on Lakeland Drive at Treetops Boulevard Sunday just before 4 p.m. Authorities say Flowwood police made a traffic stop. Flowwood police released body and dash cam images of the incident to 16 WAPT. According to police, 18-year-old Jalen Robinson.
What's going on there?
On a credit card fraud charge.
That's what's going on.
According to police, 18-year-old Jalen Robinson, booked just last month on a credit card fraud charge, jumped from the passenger side of that vehicle and took off running before turning to shoot a Flowwood police officer.
Our officer attempted to tase him, but only one of the prongs stuck in him, so it doesn't lock him up like it normally would, and the suspect turned around and shot our officer in the stomach.
But a witness who didn't give his name claims that's not what he saw.
Blatant lie. That's incorrect. Really aggravating to me that the reporter would not ask any kind of follow-up questions to go along with that. It just seems like it's a directed attack against the police department.
Chief sat down with me, angry over the alleged witness's claims that have prompted a number of death threats to Flowwood PD for allegedly shooting a black suspect in the back.
I just want to make it clear that's not what happened. The body camera footage will tell the whole story.
The chief says he wanted to set the record straight as the case is now handed over to the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations, releasing the images showing Robinson facing the officer in question and pointing a handgun with an extended bullet clip at that officer before the officer had a chance to draw his weapon. That officer was shot about 2 inches just above the belt line, but fortunately protected by his bulletproof vest. He and the other officer fire, hitting Robinson multiple times. They offered medical assistance until paramedics arrived, but he later died.
At the end of the day, our officers have every right in the world to defend themselves from people that want to shoot them for whatever reason it is.
State investigators are looking over the evidence in the case and are gathering the witness accounts from others on the scene who reveal what they saw happen on Lakeland Drive that Sunday afternoon.
Like the eyewitness that your young reporter put on the news last night as a statement of fact that was incorrect. We'd encourage him to come forward to MBI and tell his story to them also.
Well, the officer who was shot is not injured, but he is a little bruised up from taking those bullet shots to his vest. He and the other officer involved are on paid administrative leave pending the outcome of this investigation. MBI leading the investigation. Their findings will be turned over to a grand jury. We are live tonight at Flowwood Police. Scott Simmons, 16, WAPT News.
Wow.
I thought that maybe if the gun's really close to the body armor that it could penetrate it, but I guess not.
I mean, every bullet's different. It probably could, but it just probably didn't that time. Every shooting's different, you know. Protest averted, man. Thank God, man. So we almost had a protest situation here, man. BLM, the first BLM incident of the new Trump regime. He said someone put up a memorial for an attempted cop killer in Florida yesterday.
Fuck.
Black community. Like, look at these situations these guys are in, man. No one ever thinks about that. Like, yo, okay, yeah, you got beat up, or you got cuffs put on too tight or something happened wrong. But yeah, look what you just did to get in the cuffs. Okay, so yeah, the cuffs are tight and the cop should be reprimanded for putting the cuffs on tight, but you just fucking shot somebody. What the fuck? Jesus Christ, man. It is insufferable, man. God, it's just insufferable. Just straight up insufferable. This dude did all of that. He had a warrant for something, what, scamming or something? He went out like this over, I guess he really didn't want to go to jail. He's like, fuck that, I'm not going to jail.
He did the world a favor.
Wow, look at this cop right here. He sees that he has no choice but to open up on that kid. Cop has no choice. Save his partner's life. Wow. Unbelievable.
What's going on in Congo? Did we cover that yet?
We covered that yesterday. I don't know. I see something going on.
I
They
figure it's
moving right along.
rapidly evolving. What's the term?
Yeah, the rebels is moving right along across the countryside, man, unimpeded, man. Yeah, they moving, man.
Yeah, I imagine the Congo army's got to be pretty pathetic. I'd be interested to know what kind of like numbers are out there for their strength.
First on Fox, a North Baltimore juvenile crime spree caught on camera, raising concerns tonight. One victim says crime should be a wake-up call to lawmakers.
Looks like a chick.
I mean, these kids probably already been locked up, let back out and doing the same thing.
As Baltimore police are still looking for those juveniles, this resident is saying enough is enough.
3:28
Friday morning in North Baltimore, the start of a juvenile crime spree.
They pull into the garage.
Pay attention to the red SUV, the driver getting out and making a dash for this truck. But look again at the SUV next to it, someone exiting the driver's side.
That's a girl that's gotten into his vehicle.
But that's not it. Look closer. Two more figures seen running through the garage.
5 of them total.
5 juveniles attempting to break into several vehicles. This victim,
it's the parenting also,
not wanting to show its face, shared the video with Fox 45.
See, they jumped in the vehicle, they backed up.
A few seconds later, 2 figures that appear to be female return on foot and smash out the window.
She didn't get anything.
Nothing at this location, so on to the next stops for this group of would-be thieves.
It's going to be a letter sheet from auto in reference to that vehicle. The trunk is open.
Alarm companies say stuff like it's trying to open multiple vehicles.
Reports of car break-ins across North Baltimore, all with the same vehicle description.
One suspect is in a red SUV.
But it wasn't just car break-ins. This group was up to.
Yeah, I took a report for unarmed robbery. Same description of the vehicle, SUV, burgundy, juveniles with ski masks and gloves.
At one point, officers spot the vehicle
eastbound on Northern Parkway, coming up on Bologna,
but quickly lose it in the darkness.
And these are kids. These aren't adults.
Meanwhile, back where it all started, this victim, using a familiar word,
I mean, they got to be held accountable.
And is fed up with repeat juvenile offenders.
I mean, these kids probably already been locked up, let back out and doing the same thing. So until you hold them accountable, it's going to be the same stuff.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy because nothing's going to happen. Like, nothing. It's just like the Baltimore, they've already like planted their flag like with the juveniles, man. They got tougher on the adults. That's why the murders went down a lot. But they just passed some law where like Like I forgot what they called it, but yeah, juveniles are good, man. As long as it's mayors in here, you can commit crime in Baltimore as a juvenile. You just can't do it as an adult. That's basically what the mayor has said in the city council. Go ahead and commit all the crime you want, kids.
The Baltimore school teacher shot and killed in a triple shooting last month is set to be laid to rest. Family and friends gathered at a viewing this afternoon. Those responsible for the crime are still on the loose, according to city police. Fox 45's Vincent Hill has a closer look at the service and where the investigation stands.
Well, it was back on January 22nd that Antoinette Tunstall Jennings was ambushed on her way home. And as family and friends say their final goodbyes, still a lot of unanswered questions as family and friends lay her to rest.
Jennings was a loving, caring person.
The murder of Antoinette Tunstall Jennings, a Baltimore City pre-K teacher, remains unsolved. Jennings taught Timmy Green's 2 grandchildren.
When my grandson was having a few issues in school, and a couple of times she would see me in the hallway.
It was back on January 22nd that Jennings was killed in this ambush-style shooting while sitting at a red light. Also inside the car, Jennings' 11-year-old and 4-year-old grandchildren, both grazed by bullets, and her 29-year-old son, shot in the abdomen. Police responding to the scene, describing the shooters.
Broad daylight. Broad daylight after a fight at a basketball game. Broad daylight. Niggas just walk up and do this. And these are the type of situations that black people are finding themselves in, man. And when they catch these guys, whether they got sentenced too much, whether the sentence was too harsh, whether the cops was too rough during the arrest, look at what they did to get into the situation. Shout out to Muramasa, man. Muramasa says, I just sent you a link from YouTube. Okay, I'll check it out.
January 22nd, that Jennings was killed in this ambush-style shooting while sitting at a red light. Also inside the car, Jennings' 11-year-old and 4-year-old grandchildren, both grazed by bullets, and her 29-year-old son, shot in the abdomen. Police responding to the scene, describing the shooters as possible teens.
I got a description, a false description. She probably possible juveniles, 2 juveniles, one a little heavier set, one skinnier built, one all black.
On the night of the shooting, Mayor Brandon Scott, visibly upset.
Unfortunately, we are here again where basic conflict ends in the cowardly taking of life.
And making a promise to the shooters.
To the individuals who we are looking for and we will find, this is your only chance to turn yourself in.
But almost a month later, no one has turned themselves in and no arrests have been made. Baltimore police calling the shooting targeted. That may have been the result of a fight at a nearby high school basketball game.
This was something that was a minor altercation that we believe turned into this family being targeted.
Friday, Fox 45 reached out to Baltimore police asking for any updates in the investigation and if any suspects have been identified. They tell us, quote, the investigation is still active and ongoing.
You know, something has to be done, man.
Meanwhile, for those who knew and loved the Baltimore City pre-K teacher gunned down at a red light.
You slap into these kids on the wrist, and then they turn around and come back out, and we right back where we started.
They want justice as they say their final goodbyes.
So sorry that this happened to you, of all people. And if I didn't know her, I still would be saddened because that was a mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, you know, and it shouldn't have happened to her.
Funeral services are scheduled for Saturday. Meanwhile, anyone with information is urged to call Metro Crime Stoppers. In Baltimore, Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Jeez. Brazen, broad daylight, buck down the teacher.
U.S. Marshal.
Buck the teacher down. Jimmy Fields in the building.
Hey, Ak, what's up, man?
What's happening?
Yo, how long was that story? How long ago was that one?
3 days. Oh, the story happened last month, but they just covered it recently.
Oh, I ain't realized old boy was still holding on as police chief. You remember they was talking all that shit about him not living in Baltimore and shit?
The white dude? Yeah. He's still hanging in there, man. That's a tough job, Jack. Yeah, dog. But they got a new prosecutor, so it's getting a little bit better. The
Yeah, it's
prosecutor
a super tough job, man. The mayor, he been trying to solve the squeegee kids since 1984, man.
Yeah,
Those squeegee
man.
kids are squeegee grandparents now.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
That's the Sun community, bro. They squeezy great grands.
I'm telling you, they can't solve problems. It's not like, all right, we solve this on to the next. The problem just lingers forever.
Bro, when they was giving them kids like the safe zones to squeegee, I thought that was like some new shit that you was going over. And then you showed that clip, and they did that same shit in the 80s, talking about a sanctioned squeegee zone, and let's work on like for them to teach how to run the business. It's the same shit. I couldn't believe
Same shit.
history has
Same
repeated
shit.
itself.
And hold on, we haven't even seen the video from the 90s and the 2000s. It's been they've been dealing with that shit all throughout the years. No new ideas, because there is no solutions. I used to say that all the time. I don't say that as much as I used to, but there are no solutions.
Yeah, Steve Kim, he shouted you out today on the no solutions.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Shout out to Steve Kim, man. Yeah, man. I'll be checking that show. Make sure y'all check out Fearless, man, every day during the day. I don't know what time it comes on. I just know it be on during the daytime. Fearless with Jason Whitlock and Steve Kim, man. Steve Kim taking over the show, man. Whitlock about to be the co-host, man.
Hey,
yeah, that's what they were saying.
Yeah. What's going on?
I was going to ask you something, man. When, we look at the statistics now and everything looks bad for Black America. It's worse than it's ever been. Marriage, pregnancy, murder rate, all these statistics, lack of home ownership.
Hey, man, take it easy.
Hey.
But when was
it's the worst it's been for y'all too, motherfuckers. How about that?
That may be true, but this is only my setup. My question is, when was it peak? When was it peak Negro existence? Like,
good question.
Families together,
that was before the
education
civil rights movement. Before the civil rights movement.
So when you say there's no solutions, could a potential solution be to sort of restore whatever existed in that period? Somehow.
That would take an evil white man, and that would be bring back Jim Crow laws and fucking segregation. That ain't never gonna happen. So there's no solutions.
And you can never recreate a place and time because you can never recreate it. I mean, think about
I don't mean literally recreate, but I mean sort of draw from that as an example of maybe a direction
emulate.
Emulate.
Well, the people have already gone. Like we've already had hip hop. We've already had the crack era. We've already had drill rap. Like,
are you into like sports or anything like that?
Me?
Yeah.
Not
like,
anymore. I was when I was younger. I've been following a little bit of basketball.
Yeah,
watching Katie. Miss Katie.
Right. So,
yes, sir.
Katie, all right. So the whole thing would be like an example with the Sun community versus in sports. It'd be like the whole player empowerment and all that other shit, and players getting more money than light years more money than the coaches. All these endorsements. You're rich now. You know what I'm saying? In your mind, you're entitled. Like you'd have had everything. We done tasted that wealth. It is no fucking way that we can go back and y'all can go back to that type of time. It won't happen.
Yeah.
We already touched it.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, bro. We already
Variable.
went in that shit. Raw dogged it.
Well, what would happen, for thinking of steps in the right direction, if, let's say, when Elon moves on from whatever he's going through now, he moves on to the welfare system and the entitlements programs and starts slashing and cutting those? What effect is that going to have? And will that improve long-term the blacks' plight?
So I'm all for slashing that welfare program and winging people off, but they won't do it. They're not going to do that.
I don't know. It seems right in line with such things as, you know, putting people on a boat or a plane and shipping them out of the country. It's that level of just getting hardcore.
He not gonna do it. I don't think
You
I don't
could
think he's gonna do it.
lower the
Stop at that
numbers,
point.
but getting rid of it completely, no.
I think if they keep everything just about the fraudsters and the scammers and just busting those people and throwing them off, that can do a lot.
For what? How's that going to help the black community? Black community by getting rid of fraudsters and scammers that are doing welfare fraud, welfare scams.
Well, all right, maybe that won't help the
black community.
It would help the white community for sure, though.
How?
Well, the whites pay for all that stuff.
Whites are, it's a ton of whites on it. It's all types of whites.
Oh, no, I'm not denying that either.
Yeah, the whites
I'm not
got
denying
the
that either.
majority of it, the
They're-
percentage.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But when you break it down to population percentages and everything else,
No, but those whites that are paying for it, like,
Yeah.
they're not going to notice that extra money in their taxes. They're not going to, like, the whites that are paying for it, they just don't want to pay for it because they want smaller government. But they're not going to, like,
the principle of
they're
it.
not gonna be like,
Yeah,
oh
it's more-
man, look at my, I get a tax return. Those people don't get a tax return unless they a bunch of loopholes and like they're not getting, like, tax time in the black community is like
Christmas.
Going on trips and shit. And,
Yeah, it's Christmas.
you know what
It's
I'm saying?
adult Christmas.
Yeah,
So
it ain't like that in the taxpayer demographic in the typical city. They're not getting no money back anyway. They just trying to make sure they don't pay as much as, like, trying to minimize how much taxes they pay.
All right. So there's no solutions.
Nope.
Yeah, there's no solution, man. There's no solution, man. None. None whatsoever. Let's see this video, man.
This was a clear act of control and power. It's what you think of when you think of a sexual assault. To rape 3 women at an RTA station, in a secluded area of the RTA station, with a weapon. Yes, it turned out to be a BB gun, but the women didn't know it was a BB gun at the time. These were 3 young women, 17 and 18-year-olds old, that were just going to go out and live their life. They were going to go out and have fun with their friends. And they ran into this man. And to rape them and force your friends to watch you get raped at gunpoint. To say, don't say anything or I'll blow your brains out. It's the power and control of sexual assault that this man was exhibiting.
The only person he could, and that's what I was just going to get to when he said his family is frontline. Now, this isn't to excuse what happened here, because what happened here is wrong.
His family's what?
What did he say? What they say? His family is what?
His family is frontline.
Frontline.
What does that mean?
And that's what I was just. The only person he could, and that's what I was just going to get to when he said his family is frontline. Now, this isn't to excuse what happened here, because what happened here is wrong. He understands what he did was wrong, but it's a mentally ill person who was under the influence of PCP at the time, who doesn't remember what happened.
My heart goes out to the family. My prayers go out to the victims. I wish I could remember it, I wish I.
Nah, man. When you off PCP,
Hell no.
And PCP is big in DC, so I've seen it a lot. You ain't holding nobody at gunpoint and raping 3 girls at gunpoint and threatening them. You are in a different world. Like, you might could do a drive-by or something, you know what I'm saying? But not nothing like that where you're just, like, in the moment like that. You know, you
This
rape
man
3
said-
girls one after another. Nah.
This man said, I feel sorry for the victims. Nigga, you're victims, motherfucker. You victimized them, motherfucker.
Right.
How about
I wish I
could
remembered
remember? Motherfucker, you know how that nut felt, motherfucker. You had 3 of them.
Yeah, stop it, man. He PCP don't even work like that. Like, you more likely to fucking climb a lamppost than you is to fucking hold 3 girls at gunpoint with a BB gun and rape them one after another. You more likely to pull your dick out and start jacking off and shit than to do that in a fucking church or some shit. Like, you ain't, like, you know, that was he was clear-minded. He was in the moment. He was present to do that.
Well, it's it's retarded that I even have to say this, but no drug will make somebody do that.
What's the point of raping and killing someone if you're not going to be able to remember it?
I don't think he killed him.
I don't think he killed him. I don't think he killed him.
Oh, thank God.
It was a BB gun. It was a BB gun.
It was worse than kill at this point though. You fucking imagine you having to go to sleep and every night fucking.
Wait a minute.
You
He was
see
using a
an image.
BB gun. He was using a BB gun, and these women allowed themselves to be raped.
They didn't know. It looked like one of those legit firearms.
Bro, they're women. Come on.
Yeah, chicks don't know the fuck a gun is.
Yo, look at this dude. Look at that dude, and look at it. Just imagine the face with his fucking cheeks curled up, his nose all wide open. And he on top of you, and he just, ugh. Look at that. Ugh, that's worse than death.
Yeah, that's fucking awful.
I knew what was going on. I wouldn't even been there. Only thing I remember is just going back to where I sleep at, outside St. Luke's building, because that's where I feel safe. And that's all
Is
I
that a
remember,
confession?
Your Honor. I really am. I deeply am sorry.
Your Honor, I concede this defendant does have mental illness. I conceded that in my brief, and that is certainly mitigation this court should look at. But it's not the type of mitigation that should allow this defendant to excuse his behavior. We have people in our community every day that suffer from exactly what he is suffering from, that don't commit these types of acts.
Mr. Bonner, the facts of this case are considerably disturbing to me, extremely disturbing. The rape of the three women who were 17 and 18 years old at the time.
Oh, no.
Some of them, they were raped more than one time.
He was just
The
getting
fact
nuts
that they
off.
had to
He was just out there unloading on him and shit. Oh shit. And
He was backed up, man.
He should get the DP.
Yeah, but listen, a nigga off PCP bust a nut. He probably gonna go to sleep, or he probably just gonna be, drained and shit. This nigga was. I don't believe he was off any. I believe even if he was off of PCP, he's desensitized to it. He's like one of those dudes that he smokes so much PCP where he can function. He a functional waterhead, boathead, or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because he busted multiple nuts and holding them at gunpoint. You got to remember, you're doing multiple things consciously at a time. You're holding the other two at gunpoint. You're raping one. You're going around and you're raping again, and you're holding them at gunpoint, making sure they don't leave. Come on, man.
It's also possible that he rapes a lot and he kind of confuses what happened at which time. Was I on PCP that time? Was I drunk the other time? He can't remember these details.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so.
while you were raping their friend, to watch while you were raping their friends. The fact that you would rape one and then make another one perform oral sex on you. All those things are extremely troubling to this court because that each of these counts represent a separate action on your part. This court will run these counts consecutive for a total time of 55 years.
Not bad, sister.
That's bullshit. 55?
Yeah, she's.
Well, come on, it's a sister.
Yeah, she still got a soft spot in her heart for him. I feel kind of bad for him and shit.
Could have been 25.
Salute to Deluxe 247.
Well, you have to remember all those.
AKA Calvary Kid, AKA. Salute to Deluxe 247, AKA Calvary Kid, AKA the Real VP coming through once again. Salute to Barry B in the building, man. Shout out to Barry B. Right.
Well, thank God it was troubling for her. She was able to issue a harsh sentence. She was troubled by what he did.
Yeah.
She wasn't
Concerning.
horrified. She wasn't disgusted. She was troubled. So it probably took a lot on her part
Apology in court from a
to, administer that sentence. Good for her.
Now, an apology in court from a man pleading guilty to rape. The 20-year-old victim, or the 20-year-old told his victims, quote, "My bad." Nuisance 4, we are hearing from one of those victims on the stand.
Wait a minute.
And
Oh, you good, bro?
apology from Channel 2's Wendy Corona. Wendy's live outside the Fulton County Courthouse.
Well, that guy apologized twice, and perhaps not as heartfelt as some would have hoped to hear, but an apology nonetheless. 20-year-old Terry Young was taken away in handcuffs to serve life in prison plus 5 years for numerous charges that included aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and even 2 counts of rape.
It was belated, but I'm glad that you accepted responsibility.
Oh, God.
And did prevent other witnesses from having to come forward and relive the nightmare again.
The trial of 20-year-old Terry Young ended just hours after it began. The jury heard opening statements and testimony from one victim before they broke for lunch. Just hours into what was slated to be a 7-day trial, it ended.
Being 20 years old, I want to be a man and take responsibility for my actions.
Actions that authorities say terrorized an East Point townhome community that included rapes, armed robberies, kidnapping, and aggravated assaults in September 2015.
I sense a father in
One
his
victim
background.
described seeing Young when he entered her family's home.
This young man come to the door for the gun. I said, "Oh my God, it's a robber."
Judge Kelly Lee Ellerby thanked the victims for participating in their case and ultimately helping bring justice. Young's defense attorney argued for leniency in sentencing, stating that Young had been on his own from the age of 15 and made stupid mistakes as a result. But even Young, facing several counts of life in prison,
So he ran away
in the
from
end,
home when he was
didn't
15.
cry, took responsibility and apologized.
I'm going to stand tall, keep my head up, and just say sorry again, y'all. My bad.
Moments later,
My bad.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's a sincere son, man, dog. He feel that shit, man.
Yo, all that raping, that's on me, yo.
Hey,
My bad.
Hey, that rape shit, so that was my past life, man. I'm a reformed male man. Hey, the rape victims will probably be, that's when the gentleman grabbed me and stuck his penis
Yeah,
inside.
exactly.
I get the feeling this guy had a father for a couple of years in his life that made him such a stand-up guy. My bad.
He owned up. He owned up to himself, man.
They should make a movie about this guy. He owned up.
Once the Innocent Project comes
biopic.
and they say it wasn't no motherfucking DNA evidence, then yeah, he'll probably have a movie.
Jeez. Wow. That's crazy. My bad.
That's what I'm saying. Look, though, with daughters, right? Like, obviously, you got daughter, I got daughter,
Yeah.
whatever. If a motherfucker do that shit and then you sit in that court and that motherfucker just say, "Yo, my bad," can't nothing hold me back on this dude, bro.
I'm telling you, man. It's just, man. Yeah.
Young is basically eligible for parole after 35 years. Now, as for the victims that were in the courtroom, they did not want to talk on camera, but I could see at least a sense of relief in their body posture, and a couple of them even smiled afterward. For now, we're live in Atlanta. Wendy Corona, Channel 2 Action News.
What?
A dramatic development in a
What are you talking about? What's going on? You all right?
The victims were like pleased with that. I'm very confused.
What you mean? 35 life plus a life
Oh,
sentence?
my bad. I thought she meant like after he said my bad. I'm tripping.
Well, yeah, life sentence was 5 years. That's life. I mean, shit. I mean, what more can you ask for? Wow.
The vicious attack on
My
a
bad.
teenage girl outside a library left her paralyzed. The vicious attack on a teenage girl outside a library left her paralyzed and blind. Kendrick Morris was supposed to serve 65 years in prison, but an appeals court ordered Morris resentenced because he was a teenager when that crime happened. Well, today, the judge came down even harder on him. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer is here to explain exactly what happened, Aaron.
Linda, when Kendrick Morris was initially sentenced, the law prevented him from receiving life in prison because he was too young. That law has since been changed, and with Morris's fate back in the hands of a Hillsborough County judge, that judge made a very clear decision.
Life sentences are the only appropriate sentences in this case.
A life sentence for a rapist who left a young woman for dead 9 years ago.
I want to say that it's a victory, but it seems wrong to say that.
Kendrick Morris showed little emotion as the judge read his decision. Afterward, the loved ones of the woman he nearly killed shared a tearful embrace.
I believe justice was served, but in the end, both lives now are sentenced to life.
Life in prison is the outcome Anna Donato wanted for Morris. In 2008, he was...
Did she say both lives?
Yeah, because I guess her sister is like blind and fucked up, right?
But in the end, both lives now are sentenced to life.
Life in prison.
Oh, both are sentenced to life. Okay, I thought she said like both families.
I got a thing though. Is this a hate crime?
No, there's never even thought about. It's a black guy. That ain't even. Nigga, if you fucking cut line in front of a black person in McDonald's, you could be fucking charged with a hate crime. Black person do this shit, it don't even come in, like it doesn't even come into the equation.
If you're at a library and there's some black guy just wandering around, you need to get away. He's only there for one thing. He's not there to get any books. He's only there for one thing. He's here.
I recommend y'all getting away from us. I recommend y'all getting away from us any chance y'all can get, man. But lighters is fucking just trying to be like fucking allies and shit. It's no such thing, bruh. It's no such thing as an ally.
Sometimes
Stop Asian hate.
Sometimes you know what I mean, like you get desensitized. There's a lot of black crazy people walking around talking to themselves. And like, you on the train. Say she got on the train and you went to the library and she saw some black people on the train acting crazy. And I don't know about you, but MLK Library in DC is like a haven for degenerates and transients and street people. It's almost like their headquarters, Martin Luther King Library, right downtown DC, blocks from the White House. It is. It's
good job. They keeping his legacy alive, man.
Yeah, so it's like they free Wi-Fi on the computers, bathrooms and shit. And it's like it's like a group home down there. Downtown, they got several shelters and group homes down there, and those people got to get out during the day, and they go right over to the library.
Is the outcome Anna Donato wanted for Morris. In 2008, he was 16 years old when he raped and beat Anna's then 18-year-old sister, Queena, outside the Bloomingdale Library, leaving her paralyzed and blind.
I know that she needs the closure.
Closure has been hard to find for Queena and is something her family keeps praying for, as they did over the weekend. Morris was initially sentenced to 65 years without parole, but an appeals court determined he needed to have the chance for parole because he was a juvenile at the time of the crime and ordered him to be resentenced.
These crimes were particularly atrocious and cruel.
Judge Chet Tharp read through Morris's crimes, which include another violent rape in 2007. The judge could have shortened the sentence. Instead, he lengthened it. And he got choked up as he recounted Queena's story.
She was unresponsive. Having suffered major injuries.
Always difficult to relive that day, and but it's just a reminder of how horrific the crime was.
That's a reminder Anna gets every day. Not even a harsher sentence for her sister's attacker can change that.
It's not over.
My bad.
It's going to be a lifetime commitment taking care of my sister.
You
The
good?
doctor told the judge he thought Morris could be rehabilitated, but the judge clearly didn't agree. Morris will be able to have his case reviewed in 2031. That's 20 years after he was first sentenced.
Oh, he coming right up. Okay, he coming. He gonna have his case reviewed in a few years. Wow. Yikes.
Yeah, I think we should let him out, man. I don't know.
Jesus
What you
Christ,
think?
man.
I think we should let him out. He only raped what? He got caught for 2 rapes, so I mean he at least did 8.
Probably the only 2 he ever did.
Equity demands that we release him.
Oh my God, man. Jeez.
He's just not good at rape. He keeps getting caught.
To get caught with 2 rapes, and it's not like you raping like family. You know, most rapes are like, you know, people you know.
Yeah.
These are random people that's just getting raped by a fucking juvenile.
Maybe he doesn't have any friends.
This motherfucker has done that shit. Do you understand that a random rape is like random robberies and shit like that when they go on sprees and shit?
Yeah, you don't get caught.
This motherfucker probably was going on rape sprees, just like people go on robbery sprees or car theft sprees.
Yeah.
He probably got 20 or 30 rapes.
You don't think these are the only 2 rapes he did? I mean, he's been caught twice. It's pretty good odds that he's only committed 2.
Let's see what's going on out here in Austria, man. Everyone, make sure you support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Take the $7 challenge. Shout out to all you guys. Wow. Austria.
While I was driving on Phelock Bridge, I noticed a commotion, something that seemed unnatural. I looked to the right, I saw 2 people. First, I saw someone on the ground, but I didn't pay much attention. I drove forward a bit and started driving very slowly because there were many people, some running, some scared, and some was shouting for help. I saw a person with a knife in front of me, threatening people. I immediately understood what was happening. There were people on the ground bleeding, and this person was waving the knife in a threatening manner. I immediately drove toward him and hit him with my car. The good thing is that the impact wasn't too strong, thank God. I mean, the goal of hitting him with the car was just to neutralize him or stop what he was doing. The goal wasn't to harm anyone. People look at me as a hero, but I don't see it that way. I say to people, please, if something like this happens again, you have to do something. You can't just stand there, take photos and film videos.
كنت انا يعني بصدمه كمان، والصدمه الاكبر اللي صارت لي انه الناس بعد ما صدمته هجموا علي.
Well, it was a desert demon, so you fucking you owed the fucking town to do that shit, motherfucker.
But let's start with the main story that we are leading with, and it is that a 23-year-old Syrian asylum seeker has now been arrested on suspicion of stabbing several passers-by in southern Austria.
Yes, it appeared to be a frenzied attack, and it's left a 14-year-old boy dead and injured 4 or 5 others.
Yeah, indeed. 2 others are remaining in hospital, and the suspect, who is yet to be named, has since been arrested. Just for a little bit of context, it, of course, comes just a couple of days after an Afghan asylum seeker, a failed Afghan asylum seeker who was known to police, killed at least 2 people in Munich and injured several others by driving a car through a crowd of people. And it also comes, doesn't it, just a couple of days after J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, warned Europe about this exact thing. So should we get the thoughts now of former police detective Peter Blackley? Peter, thank you very much for joining us, especially at this time in the morning on a Sunday. Always great to have you on. Your initial impression, really, I mean, I'll be honest with you about what mine was. Here we go again, Peter.
On a cold, hard mortuary slab lies the body of a 14-year-old child who was somebody's much-loved son, grandson, sibling, best friend in the world, classmate, and that young child will never be seen again. In neighbouring Germany, in another mortuary, lies the body of a young mother and her 2-year-old child. These people all killed, and many, many others seriously injured by horrendous murdering monsters who, quite frankly, in my opinion, should not have been anywhere near Europe, but should have been back in the countries that they originated from.
There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, Peter, what do we do about this? You know, you've got European leaders saying they're getting tough on this. You've got European leaders saying, you know, we're going to restore control of the borders and everything. What faith do Europeans have that our leaders can actually get to grips with this issue?
I'm sick of the rhetoric, and I'm also deeply concerned because sources tell me that our courageous security services and counter-terrorism police are thwarting plots in the UK on an almost daily basis.
Damn.
We will be next, or we will be targeted for an attack like this very soon, I fear. And until we have politicians that grow a spine and turn the rhetoric into action, until we have a criminal justice system with courageous judges who will deport those who really should not be here, those with criminal convictions, those over whom we have reasonable reason to suggest they may be a threat. Until they are, quite frankly, and pardon my clumsy language, until they are rounded up, put on planes and deported, then this threat for us, all of us, is very real.
Well, look, Peter, I'm sure you, like many people, are getting deja vu, not simply because of what's happened a couple of days ago, but we all remember that period around 2016 and 2017 when Europe's floodgates first opened to a huge number of Syrian refugees. And what did we start seeing? Terror attack, terror attack, terror attack, terror attack. There was a period there where it really, really kicked off around Europe. And now here we go again. There appears to be a bit of momentum behind this stuff. And let's be very clear about where we are at the minute, Peter, because this individual, were he in Britain and were he have to committed this attack in Britain, or were the Afghan from the other day to have committed this attack in Britain, we would have arrested them, we would try them in this country, we would put them in prison in this country, but we would still not be able to deport them, Peter. And that has to be wrong, surely.
Of course it's wrong. And that's because over recent years and decades, the lunatic left, the hand-wringing liberals, so many of whom pollute our criminal justice system, either as lawyers or judges, have allowed this system to be abused. They have stripped law enforcement and right-minded people of having any way in which to deport so many of these people who quite simply pose a threat, a risk to us all, to our loved ones, and should not be here. Our nation needs to grow a spine. Our politicians need to put us first.
Yeah. And Peter, people are allowed to be angry about this. You know, yesterday we were talking about J.D. Vance. Now, his speech at the Munich Security Conference didn't go down very well with some European leaders. You had Olaf Scholz saying that his comments were what did he say? He said they were unacceptable. Unacceptable. And others said he shouldn't be saying this sort of thing about Europe. But he highlighted that there's an issue within in this country. Let's have a little look.
And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. Yeah. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
Okay,
well, I mean, Peter, people don't like hearing it, though. Peter, we're going to have to leave it there, though. But thank you so much for coming on so early in the morning on a Sunday. Former police detective Peter Blexley there.
Thank you, Matt.
Are there any Muslims on the panel or in the chat? I don't know enough about the religion. But if you get 72 virgins for slamming a plane into a building, how many virgins do you get for just like stabbing a local infidel? There's got to be like a rate.
I mean, the act, though, you got to remember, jihad and whatever, the fatara, it's the act. So whatever mission you go on, there's different missions. If you were successful, you probably get the same amount of virgins because, like, everyone's not asked to fly a plane into. Some people are asked to drive a car into a crowd. Some people are asked to go on a stabbing spree. So whatever you were asked, if you complete the mission, I'm sure you should get the same amount of virgins.
Seems pretty unfair that the guy that goes through all the trouble to slam a plane into a World Trade Center, let's say, gets
Jimmy,
the same rate as some guy that only has to stab a toddler in a schoolyard. That's the same? That doesn't seem fair.
No. You only get the 72 virgins if you blow yourself up.
Okay, what if you stab the kid and blow yourself up?
The blowing yourself up, that's it. That's all that matters.
All right.
Okay. Wow. Mm.
And if you blow yourself up, you're taking people with you. So, like, that's a done deal.
Yeah.
That seems fair that you'd get 72 virgins for that. But I just thought maybe any random act of, murdering infidels in a country where you've been given every opportunity, it just seems unfair that stabbing a toddler in the face could possibly get you the same 72 virgins as blowing up the World Trade Center. I was just stymied by that. But thanks for helping me out with that.
Yeah, it's a death cult.
We don't have that in America. We don't have 72 virgins, let alone possible reward.
Yeah, these he said the 72 virgin thing is a mistranslation. It actually means a load of virgins. Doesn't really mean 72. Okay, well.
So if there's fat, there'd be less virgins. The same size load, possibly. If they were fatter, you could get less virgins than, say, 72 skinny virgins. If it's by load size.
They're a rough bunch, man. This sand demon, those desert demons are a rough bunch, man. Wow. Austria, yikes. Sucks to be you, man. Sucks to be Austria, man. Sucks to be Europe.
Sucks to be Europe, yeah.
Yeah. Yikes.
One of Philadelphia's most wanted fugitives is now in police custody. 29-year-old Giovanni Otero was arrested over the weekend in New York. He was wanted in the murder of his ex-girlfriend back in November. Action News reporter Annie McCormick live now at police headquarters with the latest details on this arrest. Annie.
Yeah, and Sarah, authorities did catch a lucky break. It was over the weekend that a New York State trooper did pull over Otero in a traffic stop after suspecting him of driving a stolen vehicle. And tonight, he still remains in New York authorities' custody. 29-year-old Giovanni Otero captured in New York over the weekend. He became one of Philadelphia's most wanted after the murder of his ex-girlfriend, 29-year-old Melody Rivera. Rivera was discovered bludgeoned to death in a shallow grave in a Fox Chase Park November 8th. Otero was recently released from prison for firearms violations and went silent, ignoring his parole officer. In December, he was charged with Rivera's murder, and the U.S. Marshals got involved. Otero was nowhere to be found.
We're considering him the most wanted person in the city now. The family needs closure on this case. It's a horrific crime.
Otero vanished, and authorities have now learned he fled to Virginia, where he's accused of stealing a car and making his way to New York. He was pulled over Saturday in Westchester County following a brief pursuit. The suspect, also known as G and Gozer, was nabbed. He remains in New York custody tonight. Now, the suspect does have a court date for the 20th. He still faces charges in connection to the alleged stolen vehicle in New York. He also has to have an extradition hearing before he heads back to Philadelphia to face charges, including homicide. For now, reporting live out.
Oh, Glider in the building. Let's go.
A man from Michigan has been
Represent.
charged with attempted homicide and arson in Bensalem. Officials announced the details of his arrest this morning, saying the suspect drove more than 700 miles to start the fire. Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson is live now in Bensalem, where this all unfolded. Sharifa, they talked about the man's alleged motive.
Yes, Sarah. Police say that the suspect's ex-girlfriend told him about a new online relationship she had with a 22-year-old who lived at this home. They say that 22-year-old was here when that fire was ignited. You can see this home now. It's a total loss. They say the suspect drove from Michigan to get here. This is 21-year-old Harrison Jones, the suspect charged with 6 counts of attempted homicide and arson. Bensalem police held a news conference to announce his arrest this morning, 1 week after they say he drove from Michigan to Bensalem to commit this arson.
He drove over 730 miles, 11 hours, to do what he did, and then drove directly back home.
Police and fire were called to a home on the 5200 block of Merganser Way in Bensalem, February 10th around 5 a.m. This video shows the intense flames. Nearby surveillance cameras were able to track the suspect's movements before and after the flames were ignited, threatening the unsuspecting family. Police say surveillance also helped them track the license plate number registered in Michigan.
He was also the ex-boyfriend of a 21-year-old female who was recently engaged in an online relationship with a 22-year-old son at the Merganser Way residence.
Officials say the family's 2 dogs died in the fire. 6 people, all adults, were transported for minor burns and smoke inhalation.
This family was extremely lucky to survive this. It is clear to us that Mr. Jones had murderous intentions.
Yeah, and Jones, he's still in custody in Michigan. It's expected he'll be extradited in the coming days. We're live in Bensalem. Sharifa Jackson, Channel 6, Action News. Sarah?
See if you want to get rich, here's what you need to do. You need to create an app that you can just access across the country, and you don't have to travel 700 miles to burn someone's house down. You can just get on the app and have someone else do it for you, kind of like a Lyft situation, or where like someone can come pick. You want to start a fire in Boston, you get on the app and you can burn down your ex-girlfriend's house. Someone local does it for you.
Yeah, call it like arson on demand or something.
Yeah, that guy was nuts. He was in love. She's lucky.
Yeah,
he did that, and he goes away because he would have killed her eventually.
I've never loved a woman enough to travel 700 miles and burn her house down. I mean, I hope I can find that love someday, but I've never experienced it.
I have, but I've never done it. But
it must be beautiful to feel that much love for a woman that you could.
It's hell. It's not love.
You got to love someone a lot to traverse the country.
Possession.
I've seen it, but I've
kill their
never
dog
been in that position.
and burn their house down.
It's possession. Possession, obsession, narcissism.
Yeah, there was a girl I knew who broke up with her boyfriend. He was in Las Vegas, and when she broke up with him, she was in Seattle, and he just got on a plane and came up and begged for her to come back, like just on his own.
It seems more like a woman thing to do, actually, travel across country like that, like a crazy person.
Nope. You could build an entire prison system off of men that are in there for just that. Nope. Nothing to be further from the truth.
Yo, I said my bad.
The family of Sam Norquist, heartbroken and hurt.
They can rot in hell.
I'm gonna rot in hell and die.
Kayla, Sam's sister, says
Okay.
he left New York on September 28th, all in the name of love, after meeting his girlfriend, Precious Arzuaga, online.
I had a bad feeling off the start that it wasn't going to end well if he came out here, and he wouldn't listen to me because he thought that he was in love with this woman, and he thought this woman loved him back. She kept telling him that he was loved and she would take care of him, and just sold him on a dream to get him to come out here.
That dream turned into a nightmare for Sam and his family. Police charge Precious and these 4 suspects for torturing and killing Sam.
Torture.
Damn.
How could somebody be so evil?
Sam's mom, Linda, tells me he enjoyed making people laugh and is angry at what happened to him.
This B, if she was
So which one is it? Is it a guy who turned into a girl or a girl who turned into a guy? I don't know what's going on here. with that part of it. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. It's kind of short, so probably a girl.
Yeah, that's a girl pretending to be a guy.
Okay.
Him. This B, if she was preying on Sam, she didn't think that that Sam's family would have gone this far.
Sam was supposed to return home on October 12th, but on October 13th, when Kayla didn't hear from him, she immediately got worried. So she had an officer do a wellness check on Sam here in New York. She says the officer said Sam appeared to be fine, but Precious was fired
But a woman.
up. After that, she says she received a message from Precious saying Sam is an adult and he is safe. Then on October 14th,
They just use both
she was
pronouns.
sent a video of Precious's arm around Sam, and Precious was doing all the talking.
And wouldn't let him say anything. You could tell in his face that he didn't want to be there. He was scared.
Kayla says she knew something was wrong. She repeatedly called and messaged Sam. She even sent Sam pictures of his niece and nephew, something he always responded to, except this time. She continued calling, and then one day she was blocked. Christmas came and went. No Sam until
New Year's Day, I spoke to Sam, and it was very short. And Sam said, "I love you. I'll call you tomorrow." And I never heard from Sam.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us.
Damn.
Lester
Now to a case
Dolt.
that has getting national attention. Today, we are learning more about some of the suspects charged with allegedly murdering a transgender man from Minnesota in New York. Joe McCoy has the details.
Morgan, we want to warn viewers that this case is disturbing. Today, we learned that at least 2 of the suspects have a criminal history that includes sexual assault of minors and distribution of child pornography. It's adding yet another layer to an already twisted and horrifying case. We uncover new details tonight on the alleged killers of
Looks like the same chick. Oh, yeah.
Oakdale, Minnesota. According to the New York State Sex Offender Registry, Patrick Goodwin, one of the 5 suspects charged with second-degree murder in Sam's death, was sentenced to 10.5 years in prison in 2015 for first-degree sexual abuse against a 7-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl. He was released from prison in 2023.
Face checks out.
That did this to Sam are pure evil. They're not even human.
Sam's mom, Linda, still
Facts.
can't wrap her head
Years for
around how
that.
these people could
He got 10
allegedly do
years for
such a
that.
heinous crime to her son.
We were really close. We used to get in the vehicle, go driving around and dream and look at these rich houses. That was our thing.
According to the Sex Offender Registry, Goodwin lived at Patty's Lodge Motel in Hopewell, New York. This is where, according to court documents, Sam was tortured and killed sometime between January 1st and February 2nd.
I don't understand, and I never will, ever. I don't get it. And I'm so heartbroken. I'm numb.
Another suspect, Kyle Sage, was sentenced to 2 to 4 years in prison in 2022 for fourth-degree grand larceny and first-degree distribution of pornography to a minor, according to the New York State Department of Corrections. He was released from prison in May of last year. Investigators have not commented yet on the relationship Sam had with the
Couple more
5
trannies.
suspects. According to Sam's mom, Sam had traveled to New York in September to meet his online girlfriend, Precious Arzuaga, who was one of the 5 suspects. He had a plane ticket to come back to Minnesota in October, but never returned home. All 5 of the suspects are in the Ontario County Jail in New York. We reached out to both the county's attorney and New York State Police about the charges and when the suspects will be in court next, but have not heard back yet.
Jeez.
Now, a Channel 2 Action News exclusive, a manager at McDonald's.
Damn. That's crazy.
Pretty long piece on a simple murder, you know. I guess.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, murders happen all the time, and there's many that they don't cover on the news. But this is a trans person who got murdered, and they just gave it a lot of airtime and kind of really dove into it.
Well, I mean, it was torture, and you know what I'm saying? It went missing. They were tortured. I think that was a newsworthy story.
On Evil Alone.
Torture and shit, and the family went missing, and all the facts. You know what I mean? It was interesting. CSI.
Could you check out the food vendor crackdown video?
Where's
Please.
that at?
King County.
Illegal food vendors are popping up more and more in King County.
These unsafe food operations can get you really sick, even hospitalize you. Fox 13's AJ Janival shows you how the health department is changing the law.
These changes will go into effect this year, and that means food businesses like caterers, bakeries, and food trucks will post these safety ratings, things that you've seen in restaurant windows in the past. Now you'll see them in these businesses, helping you make a safe decision when it comes to what you eat.
Get your motors running because it's lunchtime in Seattle.
Well, I really like arepas. Yeah, I mean, my favorite is the taco.
So I need to have some flavor and some spice into it.
When it comes to food trucks, you usually have a lot of options, so your decision falls to what do they serve or even how much it is. But with this new food rating system, it might make your choice a little more appetizing.
Hygiene. It's very important for me that the place that I'm looking at, it looks clean, and the food that's made is made with like good standards. How you doing there? I'm just looking at the menu.
Maybe the owner doesn't wash his ass with his bare hand.
Has several locations throughout the area.
We'll have it up here listed on the front of the truck where people can see it openly.
Chris McClendon tells me now his customers will be able to see their food rating.
Ours is excellent.
Just like at their brick and mortar spots. This rating system will also inform you if where you're taking your family is even legal.
If it does not have a commercial kitchen, it does not have an inspection, then you are literally at the Wild West.
The health department says illicit vendors like these red cart
Literally?
peddlers are popping up at ball games, concerts, and outside clubs and bars.
I wouldn't feed it to my family, I would say.
And now with the health department requiring more businesses to post their ratings, you can make a more informed choice too.
I'd be more than happy to see them across all food trucks.
It's definitely something that would impact my decision by big factors.
Now, all legal food businesses within the county are inspected. Now you're just going to start seeing these posters in their windows. That being said, officials with the health department say there are 750 mobile food businesses within the county, so it's going to take at least a few months for everyone to get their signs. If you're a business owner, though, you can get a temporary sign printed off. We have information on how to do that at fox13seattle.com. Reporting here in Seattle, I'm AJ Janival, Fox 13 News.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Maybe they have a rating system
Man
for
killed
how
in the bourbon.
drunk you have to be to eat it, you know?
I mean, those rates. How do they figure out what your rating is? Like, what's the process of that?
Money.
I don't know. Let's see.
Man killed in the Bourbon Street terror attack died after police say an impaired driver hit their parked car head on. Maddie Kerr shares their story of his family clinging to each other after a second profound tragedy in just 6.5 weeks.
Wow.
Terrible. It's a tragedy for anybody, but to have them have to live through this again, it's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Hubert and Victoria Gautreaux were in downtown Gretna, about to enjoy dinner out with their daughter, when police say 33-year-old Stephen Juarez crashed into two cars before hitting them head-on.
I could just best describe it as carnage.
The impact fatally injured the husband and wife, married 55 years.
I thought it sounded like a train hitting something. That's what we originally were like, oh my God, what was that?
The Gautreaux family is overcome with grief. They buried the couple's grandchild, Hubert Gautreaux III, just 5 weeks earlier. The 21-year-old Archbishop Shaw High School graduate was a victim of the Bourbon Street terror attack on New Year's Day. Police say shortly before 7 o'clock Saturday night, Juarez was speeding down 4th Street in a truck when he crossed the center line and hit an SUV with 3 adults inside, causing them minor injuries. Investigators say he then sideswiped this parked, unoccupied Honda Pilot before plowing head-on into the Gautro's parked SUV. Victoria was still in the back seat, left badly injured. Her husband, waiting outside the vehicle, was struck by the suspect's truck, and they were rushed to University Medical Center, where they died.
Wow.
The couple's daughter survived without physical injury, but is scarred by what she saw.
She was hysterical, absolutely hysterical, rightly so.
Officers booked Juarez with two.
Look at this fucking guy. There's a lot of glider in that Hombrito, man. That's a fucking glider, man.
Gliderito.
Yeah. There's a white boy, man. He might got a little bit. You could say he got a square face, though. So it's like he probably got a little bit of fucking Hombrito in him. Well, he's a lot of glider, man. Easy.
Luckily, he'll be able to fix his own car.
Homicide, marijuana possession, and other traffic violations. Police say this was his second DWI on record.
And he could hardly stand up. Now, as a nurse, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if this is part of a head injury or if he's intoxicated. I can't make that assumption, but
you think it might be intoxicated?
Intoxicated.
He was definitely impaired. Wound up taking him.
If he's in Hombrito and he's behind the wheel of a car, he's intoxicated. As a rule.
For medical treatment for his injuries, he had minor injuries. Then he was booked at the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office.
While officers do not believe Juarez was in the area for that evening's parade, they say this should serve as a reminder to everyone to drive sober.
We know a lot of people are going to be enjoying the festivities of Carnival season. Be responsible. That's all we ask. For you.
Shouldn't that announcement be in Spanish?
In Gretna, Maddie Kirk,
Right.
Fox 8.
Por favor.
Es prohibido bibo.
That's two.
Cervezas y drive.
No quiero los carros en el calle.
Right.
I'm afraid there's no solution for that problem either.
And that is a new video showing the moment the driver of a stolen car ran through traffic on the Claiborne Bridge and hit an officer to get away. The NOPD says officers shot 11 times at that car.
Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick calls this a deadly force situation.
Chris Welty breaks down the video showing drivers caught in the middle.
Video from the Real-Time Crime Center shows a Kia in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the North Claiborne Avenue Bridge near Poland Avenue on the Thursday before the Super Bowl. NOPD says the car was stolen during an armed robbery.
So when they are aware that the officers are present.
Police released 2 body camera angles as well as video from the Real-Time Crime Center. In the video, you see police on foot approach the car and shout commands.
Hands up! Hands up! Put your hands up! Put your hands up! Open the door!
Video shows the driver did not listen. Instead, the driver hit an SUV and pushed its way through the traffic to jump the curb. Despite an NOPD cruiser parked near the curb, the car was able to make it between the gap. The driver hits the cruiser, almost hits an officer, and then hits another officer.
That's what makes it a deadly force situation, because he is ramming occupied vehicles. He's already attempted to hit one officer.
3 officers shot at the car. NOPD says 11 shots in all were fired.
The biggest takeaway I would want is that for the public to indeed realize how dangerous it is for these officers to face people who are engaged in violence.
This is the
people. She's in charge.
Yeah, this is the one. Remember when we covering the New Year's Day attack? Golden Girl, man. This is Chief Golden Girl. Yikes, man.
She couldn't arrest a paper towel.
They have lowered their murder rate. Last year they did lower their murder rate like many major cities, because the Democrats they had to start enforcing the law ahead of the election season. So,
when that guy in the car is right about to pull out, like, do you think the officers should just shoot to kill? I do.
Yeah.
Same.
100%.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, that guy is showing, he's already showing the behavior that he'll do whatever it takes. So you can determine, like you can make an educated guess, like
Shot
just
11 times.
from this behavior right here. Not right here. I wouldn't shoot him right yet, but yeah, I wouldn't shoot him yet. But they're yelling at him to stop. There's a cop in front of his car with a gun. Let's see where.
I actually think maybe you could do a warning shot. I know that's probably against the rules, but if you're standing in front of the car and he's moving forwards and you know he's going to run into you, maybe you do a warning shot, and maybe that he.
A warning shot hit no. Warning shots, no. That's not how it rolls.
Also, like, warning shots is just like bargaining with the gorilla.
Shoot the engine.
You can't shoot the engine. You can't shoot the engin.
I mean, I don't expect the car to stop, but you shoot the engine, no one's going to get hurt.
Oh my God. So you're assuming that he's going to stop when he hears gunfire, right?
No, he's going to accelerate when he hears it.
Then you shoot him.
Like right here.
Maybe get him some mental health.
Right here, this officer right here, when he backs up, when he's not getting out, like right here, you can shoot him.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just trying to say I'm trying to force him to make a decision quicker so you can more quickly decide to shoot him.
He did shoot. This officer did shoot. This fat white officer, he shot him through the windshield. Boom.
Ouch.
And almost got killed though. His head almost got ran over. So it's like, is it worth it? Should have just shot him earlier.
I think once he's pulling into the lane, you can go right there because he's making his move. He's saying, "All right, I'm trying to flee."
Yeah.
And it's quite amazing, isn't it? Just like the because if this was a homogenous white country, we'd just shoot. Like we the amount of leeway that we have built into our law enforcement because we have to accommodate, the sun and the sun behavior hood. That's why this shit happens.
And the sun activism and all this.
Because that cop right here, this cop, let's say like there's a 50% chance, you run the simulation 2 times, one of them he may have gotten just his head crushed or his limbs or something.
Yeah.
And the sun man forces that situation because we're forced to let what you just saw happen, or else people are going to get upset if we shoot a sun man.
Yep.
I think that cop got lucky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's lucky that female cop didn't shoot him. Trying to get the driver.
Yeah. This guy's oh man.
Yeah, bro. You're not allowed to shoot warning shots. And whoever said to shoot at the engine block is literally probably the hardest point. When you're in law enforcement and military, they tell you to hide behind the engine block. Their pistols. Okay, all right. Their pistols are not going to stop the engine block. This is one of the only times I say they should have shot him, because what we see is a lot of officers, they stand in the front of the vehicle. This guy was off to the side. He veered off to the side to hit the officer. Clean shoot all day long. They should have shot him sooner.
Yeah.
He clearly made it clear he was trying to hurt them.
Well, he had to wait till he was out of range of the female cop behind him.
Like, look at this glider cop. Look that freeze frame. Look at this guy. He's like 50. He's got to do this bullshit and fucking babysit these sons, and he's like, that ain't no way to live, man. It's just not right. It's just not right, man. But Yeah, that's the position.
The only good
we're
part
put
to
in.
that job is the only good part to that job is maybe if you're lucky, occasionally you might get to shoot a son. But other
I
than
think
that,
just the benefits. That's why they do it. They're just like, fuck it. The benefits are worth it.
I'm sorry, I came in late. What country is this?
Yours.
Fuck.
But if they kill that son, man, then fuck, man, we might get a riot a day later, and then someone might die in the riot. So it's like either way, there's danger.
Lose,
Are
man.
investigating a deadly
Yeah.
stabbing outside a high-end hotel in Santa Monica tonight. The hunt is on for a suspect who left one man dead and another in the hospital. The stabbing happened early Saturday morning at the Bungalow in Santa Monica, part of the Fairmont Hotel.
So far, no arrests have been made. KTLA's Mary Beth McDade joins us live in Santa Monica with the latest on the investigation tonight. MB?
Yes, and Mike and Jerry, please tell us that there was some sort of argument inside the bar that resulted in a deadly stabbing out here on the sidewalk. And they say that this incident occurred around 1:50 in the morning as the bar was closing. Things turned deadly outside the Fairmont Hotel in Santa Monica over the weekend. Police tell us some sort of altercation occurred inside the hotel's lounge called the Bungalow and resulted in a fatal stabbing outside on the sidewalk. Police say the suspect stabbed two men. One survived, but a 31-year-old Anaheim man died. One witness says a friend of the victim tried to save the victim by applying pressure to his wound.
Holding it for a few minutes, just holding it, and then boom, falls down.
Police tell us they're checking security video from inside the club to piece together what happened. They say so far, no arrests have been made.
Bungalow is, it's a good club, but it attracts people from all over the city, and we've definitely seen.
You see that? You saw the eye roll, right? The eye roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, bet on black. But you never know. Like the Bungalow, that sounds like a glider thing. Like, we're only like non-blacks are only like 85% of the population.
Could be a biker.
So you got to give us a chance, right?
Well, you got to also think too, like a lot of clubs in these nice spots, they have free admittance, right? So it's like basically a bar. It's not really a club. It's a bar where you get in free. A lot of sons like those places.
Yeah, that's a sun attractant for sure. Anything
The
like a
lighters
free
are so
admittance.
great. The lighters are so great at being so subtle, though. Man, you saw that he was like people from all over the city, but and we all
We're
knew what he was
conditioned that way.
We all knew what he was talking about, though. Man, that's wild.
And listen, he's smart, man. He gets to keep his fucking status in this community. He's not a pariah, and he got the and everyone knows he's talking.
Bungalow is, it's a good club, but it attracts people from all over the city, and we've definitely seen some changes over the year.
Ross Prout lives near the Fairmont.
I've lived here for about 20 years, and I've seen the city some changes for sure, and I definitely am concerned about safety and security.
Many Santa Monica residents are concerned about the ongoing crime occurring in their beach city.
It's terrible. The city's been mismanaged, and it's...
Yeah, that's what it is. Mismanagement.
Yeah. The sun invasion, man.
But she voted for that, though. She voted for that
Oh,
shit.
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And she vote for it again if the election was tomorrow. But she doesn't realize they're not making the equation. They're not equating that shit leads to sons coming to your town and ruining it. They're not making that connection.
You don't think so?
No,
I
if they
think
were
they
making
are.
that connection, no, I think no, seriously, think about it.
What's your opinion? I want to know for real, because I feel that they do, but what do you think?
If you have an enclave, right? And upscale enclave where you've already the way that enclave was made was gliders moving from the city a generation before that. Okay, so that enclave wasn't just always there. Gliders used to live in whatever city. and then Sons in the 60s or whatever, after segregation, Sons started taking over the cities, right? After intersegregation, whatever, after the Civil Rights Act, Sons started taking over the inner cities. So then all the gliders moved to the suburbs. So there you have that. Now you were raised in that. So you already seen either your parents or you as a younger version of you move away from Sons to get away from
You know what, bro? I think
So
we're just
now they're moving into your enclave again. So now there's an election coming up, and you can either vote for the same policies that you voted for when you were in the city 20 years ago, or your parents voted for in the city. But you're not making the connection, obviously.
well, bro. There are residential enclaves. There are no commercial enclaves. Okay, case in point, FBG Duck got murked out in one of the richest commercial enclaves in Chicago. There
Is that a
are
rapper or something?
But what percentage of the homicides in Chicago happen there? Not many.
what I'm saying is this: like, if you have the internet, I think everyone's just being dishonest. Everyone knows this happens. They don't talk about it.
Yeah, I
They
agree.
try not to think about it. Everyone knows what's going on, but they're being dishonest with themselves and others because if you talk about this, if you avoid certain areas, certain people, you get a label.
It's cognitive
Now we're
dissonance
talking
for
about,
sure.
we're not talking about avoiding the area. We're talking about your area and the policies you vote for in your area that has now being either invaded on weekends by Sons coming from the cities and using your nightlife as a jungle playground, or Sons moving into or sex or lower, what they call it, affordable housing units
Bro, everyone's
being
got the
built in your
news. Everyone's got the news. Everyone's got social media. Everyone knows what's happening right now. Some people are just being dishonest about it.
I agree
There's no
very much.
surprise. There's no surprise about any of this shit. You don't have to
Well,
be
you,
Ox Nation to see this shit. You see it every day. You know, what I'm saying is there are residential enclaves, okay? You got armed security, gated community, but when you venture out, you want to go to Ruth Chris or whatever, this white lady here with her nice khaki whatever coat here.
Whatever simple.
What I'm saying is that everyone's just being dishonest. There's no one on this planet who does not know what's happening if they have an iPhone.
I think you underestimate the power of the algorithm and just the content that people get fed. I think it'd be pretty easy for certain bubbles.
I think everybody's aware of who's doing it, but there's a whole mass of the population who are just kind of brainwashed into finding motives that are justifying why they do it. You know, all that sort of white guilt stuff and
Facts, poverty,
yeah, exactly,
inequity,
bad racist teachers, racist tests. You know, everything's
Hyper
racist.
rationalization.
Yeah, but we're talking about, do we see the pattern, not why the pattern exists? That's what we're debating right now. And I
think they see the pattern, but the pattern's going to continue because they can't get themselves to acknowledge that they're fucking wrong and they've been living on this diet.
They know it though. They know it. God damn it, they know it. I swear to God.
You don't know gliders. Gliders are different.
No, we know. I got to be honest. Like, white people don't like black people. Trust, they don't. They don't like being around them for the same reason fucking nobody else does. It's just we're in a situation where we're not allowed to be honest about it. That really is the truth. We're not like Arabs where they just like literally despise blacks and like it's honest.
Well,
it's in their book.
Let's talk about economically speaking, right? Economically speaking, right? All right, white people, right? I mean, we got a lot of Indians who have businesses in the black community. You be a white person and say, yeah, I want to start a business. The last place you're going to start a business is in the black community. Come on, we know that, and we know why. They know
what if
that.
it's a drug dealing
we all
business?
know what's happening. We all know what's happening, but only a few of us are talking about it.
Yeah, like the white people moving away from black people is as American as apple pie. That's it's
Black
always been
people
that
move
way.
away from black people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like that's it's always been this way, and we're not allowed to really be honest about it. I do agree. Many people do think that it is because of quote unquote racism and stuff. I don't know like how many people are like race realists, but I think everyone, knows who the problem is and knows who to avoid.
Facts. Go ahead, Ock.
Now this is a lot of new commercials nowadays are showing black men with white women. It's
Yeah,
like-
this is pretty zog.
Really? Haven't noticed.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell, I missed my glider queen.
I forgot what white guys look like. Oh, wait, nope. Yeah, no, I can't remember what white guys even look like. How long has it been since you've seen a white guy in a commercial?
Well,
I think what you're saying is true based solely on the fact that they try to teach you in the DEI courses, like implicit bias. They try to get that out of you, so they know you know the truth, and they're trying to get ahead of that.
Yeah, that's why that shit exists. Like there's an entire like industry that is against white nativism and white nationalism and against, just people connecting the dots. Because if that pressure valve is not in place, then people will connect the dots. Because how could you not?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm okay with this.
I thought we weren't going to bring up the Jews on tonight's show.
I'm okay with this, man. I want me a good white woman. Shit.
Can't blame you.
Honestly, we shouldn't be talking about this. We should be talking about the lack of black fathers in commercials.
Well, they have white kids when it's a black dad.
What does that do? Like, I don't understand like what that does. Black people don't learn from seeing people do. Like, gliders have been doing a lot, building a lot. Gliders have created functional societies right in front of our face. We don't learn from that. Like, we don't emulate good. We only emulate negativity. Black people can only really emulate debaucherous, degenerate, or negative things. They can't emulate positive things.
No, it's a subliminal message. It's subliminal messaging.
When I say those things, it sounds racist, but when you say it, it sounds like a rational point of view.
No, it's fine, bro. You're racist and I'm racist. So, all right, whatever.
Yeah, everyone's racist. It's like it's nothing.
I prefer the term bigot.
Well, I'll tell you this. All right, everyone's a little bit racist, right? And so here's a test, okay? If you could press a button and wipe out every other race.
Yeah, we're saving white people.
own.
Yes.
Okay, then. All right.
Yeah,
Everyone's
and you're
racist.
saving black people, and it's that simple.
Well, I'm on a fucking sinking ship, so.
If only it were that simple.
That's what racism is. Like, it simply put,
in-group preference.
Exactly right. Like, I'm gonna care more about white people, and I can't control that. Even that's just how it is. It's just ingrained. You're not taught it. It's just normal.
No, it takes a lot of teaching to undo that in you.
Natural.
Exactly. Yeah, it takes that's what all the shit is to unteach it.
Not gonna happen, bro. It's at this point, it's generational.
Well, he means particularly among white people. It's
Yeah.
to keep white people from having a national identity.
Yeah, and
You guys were, you guys were doing really well with that in Germany a few years ago, but something happened. I don't know what happened, but
yeah. What is going on here on this screen? What the fuck is this?
Good question.
What is going on?
What is this
They're waving
fucking
passports.
debauchery?
These are Africans that are making a video bragging about moving Ireland.
Oh,
Did they get their shots?
I don't know. Oh yeah. Do you have your passport?
Ireland? Really, Ireland?
Did you get your shots? Do you want to come with Rob to America?
To America?
America.
Wait, they're trying to go Ireland, bro? Like,
I predict a large spike in leprechaun rapes.
Ireland is a white country. Like, you understand, like, Ireland might be shit to Europe amongst Europeans, but it's a white country. So it's like black people like look at it as if like it's fucking heaven on earth. Because compared to their shit, it is.
Ireland
not
is
anymore.
beautiful.
They have the same problems that the rest of Europe is having with their big cities being swarmed by Muslims and people that half the locals want and half of them are fine with, or don't want. It's going on in Ireland as well. In fact, Ireland is
It happened in Germany too with what's her name? What's the yeah, that one. Yeah. She actually rolled back a lot of her policies. And she actually disappeared from public life because of, her immigration policies. They're not playing over there. They're actually Germany is actually taking a stand on illegal immigration, way worse than anyone else in Europe. They're not playing now.
No, Poland's got it best. Poland has
Yeah, Poland's shooting them, aren't they?
Yeah, on the border.
Yeah, but also like nobody
Amazing.
wants to go to Poland. That's another big part of it.
I think it's got a big selling point right about now.
It's kind of fucked. Like if you're a glider and you make a nice white ethno state, if you do too good of a job, then like the Zog will like bring in these apes on the screen here. It's just like you get punished for your success. It's like a tax.
Wait a minute, man. They're going to do a version of going down to the Ribba dance. Ribba dance.
I feel like a lot
stand-
of these speeches though by JD Vance and Trump, like it's kind of annoying because it just we get like essentially our leaders are starting to like flirt with white nationalism. Nobody really comes out and says it, but like I genuinely don't see any other way that the problems in the West that the West is facing. What other solution is there other than just being honest about race? Because that's really the problem, or the source of almost all the problems.
Here's the thing. So yeah, white nationalism. They sound like white nationalism, but I don't really think that they're white. I don't think that they're white nationalists. I think they're white, like control. That's why the term "Make America Great Again," like go back, like America was 8% black in 1950, and like almost like zero, less than like maybe 5% Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? And Asian. There weren't even a lot of Asians there, and it was like 80 something percent white.
I think it's higher than that. It was like 90 plus, but
So
that
funny
is.
story. I'm actually okay with white nationalism. I give you.
But here's the thing though. That's not.
It benefits you.
Whites are still willing to share their country.
It benefits
They
me.
just
Yeah,
want the
infrastructure.
They just want the leadership, the collective will of the country to move in a glider, mindset.
Yeah,
I think that's good, but I think y'all still want to share your country. I don't think y'all want to kick all the other people out.
No, yeah, that's why I say flirting, like, because we're not quite there. Like, a good portion of the MAGA movement is there, right? I mean, I'm one of them. But you're right. Like, JD Vance's fucking wife is Indian, and he's got a kid named Vivek.
Yeah, they love Indians for some reason.
I don't know why. But and then, we have Trump talking about legal immigration. Like, the legal and illegal is just like a false dichotomy. It's just not relevant. It doesn't matter if like the fucking Syrian in Austria stabbing people is legal or not. The fact of the matter is you have like an alien in your society who's going to act in a way that is problematic.
Yeah, we don't really want legal immigrants from Botswana. We want legal immigrants from Sweden,
South Africa,
some shit.
We don't need more non-Europeans. It's just that simple. It really is.
Trump's going to bring in some South African farmers?
I don't know, but I mean, the fact of the matter is he needs to just stop immigration. Period. Like that's really what is necessary. And
So here's the crazy thing, though. Actually, I got out of the military a few months ago. Came back to my hometown. I was working at.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I was working at a gun range. I met a guy. He came to the gun range. I saw his ID. I was like, we live on the same fucking street, right? Like, I know where he lives because I've lived here all my life. So a few days ago, I went over there, had a beer with him. We were talking, talking about guns and shit. He was like, yeah, man, I got some German memorabilia in my house. And, I knew what that meant. So I went over there, talking, shooting the shit. He brought me in. Yo, his great grandfather was a Nazi. Like, he's showing me all his Nazi memorabilia and shit.
Is he like SS?
He was a Luftwaffe, which is I guess a paratrooper or some shit. Long story short, man, we out here chilling, bro. He's buying me beers, and we're just fucking chilling, bro. He's showing me this whole cabinet of Nazi memorabilia, and I was like, bro, no one's gonna fucking believe this story if I tell them that. And I'm going over there again. Like, everything was cool, bro. Like, it's history, and yeah. I mean, according to the liberal media, that I should be swinging right now on a fucking tree, but like, I'm going over there again, like, tomorrow.
I mean, I think
He took a big chance.
He's playing the long game. Watch out, man.
Who took a big chance?
Well, I mean, just by saying that to you, he doesn't know how you might
No.
have responded.
He's right. He took a big chance because, like, I was looking at that shit. I was like, man,
He invited his son into his house. How
I
long
could
is that
rob this motherfucker right now, bro.
Or come back later, steal it, kill his dog, burn his house down. And if you use my app, you can do that from across the country. You can actually pay someone to do it for you.
No, I'm just saying, man, this shit's all bullshit, bro. I mean, it's whatever, bro.
I do think Auk is right, though. Like, the fact of the matter is, a critical mass of gliders are still okay. I really don't think they are, but they're kind of forced to be okay with sharing a country. And
I mean, would all right? Would this guy let me fuck his daughter? Probably not, right? But I don't want anybody fucking my daughter. So why is he wrong?
no, he's not wrong. It's just like before 65, I think there was probably a trajectory that America could have succeeded on in terms of race relations, and that would have been essentially like the Israel model. You basically go, okay, this country is meant for Europeans, and then we're going to make like a space for, the indigenous and the sons, and that's it. This is like a black box. Nobody else gets in here. And then, as long as there's like a base to the soup, like a 90% plus European population, then, then it could probably work out. I think it would have worked out. But if you invite the whole fucking world in, that's just game over. That's not going to work.
Thing is, it was working though. It was working because I remember a time when everyone just run everybody's face. Everyone talked shit about everyone, made jokes about everyone. No one took it personally. That was like the late 80s to early 90s. Then all of a sudden, it's smoke.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that talking point a lot, and here's why I just think it's wrong. And I think the main reason to why it's wrong is, simply put, in the 90s, gliders were still a super majority. There weren't like, a critical mass of Hispanics that were, unapologetically willing to like flex their will and desires. So, it's like, yeah, if you live in a country where there's like a super majority and they're not an oppressive one, then most other people are kind of, fine to integrate and play along.
Can you define super majority? Because I think I think gliders are still at like 45% of the country.
Super majority would be 90 plus, I think. Basically pre-65 level.
In the 90s?
Gliders are over 60% of the country. They're in the 60s.
Okay, all right. So today, right?
No. Like a super majority, I would define as 90% plus. And so,
I was talking about my lifetime, like late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
So,
but anyways, basically, like, yeah, if you have a small amount of foreigners, there's probably not going to be too many problems. But once a critical mass is reached, then then you're going to feel that as a nation, and that's where we are right now. I reject this whole like, oh, things were great in the 90s and we got over racism. No, we just didn't have enough non-whites yet to really make it be felt.
Well, I disagree with that, sir, because there was a whole civil war when you guys were the quote unquote the super majority. So I reject that point.
Yeah, but it wasn't over. How's that relevant? I'm not really sure how that's relevant.
So you said there were no problems when you were the super majority.
No, I meant there. No, I'm pushing back on the talking point that I've heard that, hey, in the 1990s, you know, racism was defeated, and you know,
I didn't say that.
oh, I thought that's what you did say.
No,
Okay,
sir. I did not say that at all. I
okay.
say racism is alive and well. I'm racist now. I talked about this. I'm
Wait, but
racist. Everyone's racist.
hold on. Weren't maybe I misheard you? Weren't you saying like, oh, in the 90s, you know, minorities would
It
make
was
jokes
better
about
than
each
it was
other and it was
today.
better and it wasn't a problem and folks got along? Isn't that what you said?
I will say it is better than it is today. Yes, sir. I'll
Okay.
I'll stand on that.
Right. And what I'm saying is I don't think no, I agree. It's worse now, no question. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's worse now because of, you know, something in the ether, or folks are just more
Social
upset
media.
or
It's social
unhappy or
media.
racist now. I think why it's worse now is
Oh,
simply put.
it's social media. David Carroll, rest in peace. He said the
You can
3
see.
plagues of the black community were integration, social media, and shit. I forgot the last one, but integration and social
That
media. Yes,
music.
so I agree with that.
Yeah,
It's
I
called
think the
the
cause is just the demographics continue to shift. And the more they shift, the more rowdy the alien population is going to become. Obviously, a
yes.
5% Muslim Germany is going to have way less problems than a 30% Muslim Germany.
It's the Kalergi plan, or
Yeah,
however you say that word.
Well, the
not.
problem is like y'all went soft, bro. I mean, I give
Oh,
you
we
example.
know.
So, yeah, when I went to do my security job, I'm in full tack gear. Okay, I'm talking about level 4 plates, drop holster, staccato, XC. I'm not playing out there. Sunmen need a hard deterrent, and I'm sorry, I'm Sunmen. Like, we need a deterrent, but somewhere along the way, y'all stopped giving us a deterrent. And when we got
Deterrent
the
is
deterrent,
racist. Deterrent is racist. Once the deterrent became deemed as racist, and gliders hate being called racist, and where they well, that I think that's the root of everything. We got to go back to the time when the worst thing a glider could do. Because there's always been, I think gliders have always seen, some section of gliders have always seen racism as being bad. Some section of them, but when the time when it became, yo, you can kill your whole family, but if you're racist, that's worse than killing your whole family. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like where the absolute worst thing a glider could do is be a racist or say something racist or espouse racist views. When did that happen?
Say the
Good.
civil
Yeah, that's what
rights
I
was
was
the
What
wondering.
beginning.
about the worst thing you could do when it became the worst thing, the number one worst thing?
Maybe the early noughts, maybe the early noughts.
sorry, the what? Watts?
The early 2000s.
The watch rats?
The early noughts. So I would say.
I would have said the 70s.
Really? In the 70s? I don't know. I wasn't alive then, so I don't really know.
It's just my guess.
But
No, he's right though. One of the reasons that I got hired there was because, I had military experience, law enforcement experience, and let's be honest, I'm black. So if I had to smoke a motherfucker, it wasn't gonna be too much political shit.
I'm just gonna have to take your word for that you're actually black. I hope you don't mind. I can't see you. I just, I'll take your word for it. Continue. I'm sorry.
Nah, bro, I'm a Sambo, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this tomorrow. We're gonna have to find out when that happened. We may have to go to Hezekiah, man, to find out when that, because I wanna you said the early 2000s, and you said, you know what?
I think so, yeah. When it became like a death
The
sentence to your
worst thing,
career.
not a bad thing, not
Yeah.
one of the worst things, but it is literally the worst thing you can do right now is to be called a racist.
I think by mid 90s it was kind of there,
But
a
I'd
lot of
say
people.
for the last 15, maybe 20, but definitely the last 15, it's like worse than murder.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. That once it became that, that's when glider society really, like, like spiraled, like
Yeah.
now it's like you're like going downhill with like gasoline draws and shit. Like you're just out of control because now you're completely neutered. Now your woman
I'd like to say
is
that
judging
everything
you. Now
turned.
your woman judges you. Your woman doesn't say, "Hey, man, you cheated on your taxes." You know what I'm saying? You're a horrible person.
I'll
And
say
We lost our
Trayvon
balls.
Martin. Trayvon
Johnny's
Martin.
racist. Johnny's racist, but you cheated on your taxes, so you're worse than Johnny. Johnny's just a little racist. You cheated on your taxes. Now your woman's like the worst thing you can do, white man, is be racist. And then now all the other
It's
groups,
guilt by
like
association.
all the other groups, once we found that out, because eventually Sons found that out. But of course, Juice Crew found that out first. So when they identified that, okay, we got them. They think the worst thing they can do is be a racist. Child porn, yeah, that's really bad. But if you're a racist, you're worse than child porn guy.
No bullshit.
It's guilt by association, and I'll say this. Here's an example. People claim that Donald Trump is a racist, right? Melania Trump has not said anything wrong. She's not done anything wrong. She's
She just
got
married a racist. She just
she's
married a
got
racist.
she
And she looks
not
great for her age.
she's not said anything wrong. She's not done anything wrong. His kids have not said anything wrong. They've not done anything wrong. And it's guilt by association. So yes, the
Yeah.
worst thing you can be is a racist, and your partner will unfortunately now bear the brunt of that claim.
Yeah, that's about sums it up. And I think if gliders survive in any way, in any like real way, in any sort of new state or nation or country, I think that'll be the end of women in terms like we could never, ever, ever, ever grant them any sort of autonomy. I know this sounds like incel talk, but it's really not from that vantage point. But it's just more so from your women, especially glider women, are the weakest link. They're like the fucking hole in the Death Star. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm.
Like we can't have them having any sort of political autonomy ever again because look at the fucking damage they've caused.
Yeah, straight out of the gate, banning alcohol. Thanks, ladies.
Banning rape. Well, now what are we?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat right now. 2 weeks too slow. 2 weeks too slow. Melania is a legal, emphasis on the legal immigrant.
But I mean, let's be honest. Like, if she was an illegal immigrant, would it matter? No, because she's European. She's like, what the fuck would it matter?
Well, if most illegal immigrants looked as good for her age as she does, I would be fine with it.
Like
Let them come across the border.
If you import a bunch of like alien people, having a legal just means it's an official stamp by the government. That doesn't fucking mean really much.
It means whether or not you can be here. That's what it's supposed to mean.
If you couldn't find a way to citizenship if you couldn't find a way to become a legal immigrant, to get citizenship through the most liberal and immigration approval fucking administration of all time, then that tells me you don't want to be legal. You don't want to pay taxes. You just want the benefits of being here.
Well, I think genuinely, when liberals say shit like, oh, like if we don't allow people in legally, then they'll come in illegally. I actually agree with them. I think they're right. I think just how many people are on the planet? Like 8 billion, 9 billion. So, if we have a cap of how many people come here a year, there's always going to be way more people that want to come just by virtue of, all these poor countries, which are the majority of the world. So,
Richard Rapoy has a great notion that in order to be allowed into the country, you have to be able to eat a bacon cheeseburger and have a beer. And if your religion or whatever your country doesn't allow you to do those things, like if you're a vegetarian, that takes out the Pajeets. If you can't eat pork, that takes out the Israelis and the Muslims. and the cheese, well, the Orthodox, it's a great way. You must pass this test to be, otherwise
Okay.
you're not needed or wanted in this country.
I have a better one. How about you just are European DNA? Simple. Like that's really what it has to be like. But you
Right.
know, like folks are flirting with it. You know, we've been flirting with it for like a few years now. But I genuinely don't see where Western society could go in a positive direction that did not lead to essentially white nativism, because that is Western civilization at its core. I mean, that's what it is.
Well, I mean, bro, I'm gonna say this, bro. I kind of think you guys are done. And I'll say this, you know, because I'm a history buff. I love Roman history, right? Hail Caesar, Elon Musk, when he did his salute, that was a Roman salute. Yeah, I know the Nazis took it for their own, but it originated in Rome. Okay, it was a Roman salute, and the reason why Rome fell, okay, is because of immigration. So,
100%.
but you guys are fucking up, bro, and the barbarians of the walls, bro. And I don't see you guys pushing them back, bro.
Yeah, I think more. I think, yeah, no, I mostly agree with that analysis. I think more than anything, gliders are almost going to become like the Juice Crew in terms of like being a diaspora population wherever they kind of live on the planet. And yeah, there has to be some sort of like white nativist revival. I don't know how that's going to be achieved, but there has to be a strong in-group, out-group preference. And the way
It's
the
not gonna
Juice Crew
happen, bro.
does it is
You,
with religion.
bro, you don't have the protections of the Juice Crew. You don't have the Holocaust to save you. Okay, you don't have you don't have the generational protections that the Juice Crew has. The Juice Crew does what they do behind the scenes, and I'm gonna be honest with you. They're on game. They're on deck, right?
No doubt.
You don't see, I and let me know, chat. Let me know. I have never seen a prominent Jew step out of line.
Never.
You
No, never.
motherfuckers, you motherfuckers step out of line all the goddamn time. You're caping for other people. I've never seen a prominent Jew go against another Jew, and that's why you will lose.
No, I haven't either. I've never seen that. And if they do, like their whole career is basically built around being like an anti-Israel, like counterculture Jewish person, like
Plant.
or some say that's a plant, but no, you're right though. Yeah, you're right.
Norman Finkelstein types.
There are no Jew plants though, because those plants don't. Those plants
There's a
don't
plant
grab
called the Wandering
roots.
Jew. I have to take issue with this.
There's no plant though, because the plant needs roots, and the Jews have roots. So you can't be a plant without roots. Tell me someone prominent in the Juice Crew who stepped out of line. Please, anybody, somebody.
Yet it was the Juice Crew that produced Roots, the 5 nights of education that occurred during the 1970s for America about the subject of slavery.
It's a great movie. I showed that shit to my girlfriend when we're watching popcorn. Like,
I do think though, it will become undeniable at one point how this just is not working. But no, you're right. Like the question is it going to be too late? Probably.
It's way too late.
It like there's like even your most liberal person will not feel fucking comfortable in a country that is like 5% white. We can all agree on that, right? Like there is a certain number that will be reached where folks will.
I'm sorry, say that again. Your most liberal person, what?
Yeah, like
Even the most.
Your
Go
most
ahead,
like progressive liberal white lady, at some point, if the numbers of whites were to keep decreasing, at some point even she will be forced to be a white nationalist. But the problem is,
can we break it down? I'm sorry, that's a big thing. That's a macrocosm, right? Can we break it down to like the United States?
sure. So gliders are whatever percentage they are. Let's say it's 60 or 70. suppose on a long enough time period, we become smaller and smaller and smaller. Like there will be some number reached that is larger than zero, where even the most diehard liberal white people will have to admit that white nationalism is necessary for survival. But the problem is, at such a low percentage of people, it will be unfeasible to.
Never gonna happen.
No, it will happen.
Hang on. No, he's right.
It will happen. It'll be
It will
too late, though.
happen.
It'll be too
It'll
late.
be too late, but
Yeah.
goddamn, bro, they're gonna cut a fucking swath, bro. It's gonna be when they decide to turn the fuck up, bro. Oh my god.
And you kind of have to think about it like just from like an evolution perspective. If the liberal gliders have less kids, are less religious, and are also more likely to engage in race mixing, kind of makes like a pressure, like a pressure that selects for more like xenophobic type of gliders, don't you think?
No, I mean that's the thing, bro. So diametrically speaking, right? I'm on a Malcolm X thing, right? Like at my darkest moment, I'm on Malcolm X thing, all right?
What does that mean?
All right, I'll tell you. Malcolm X, he preached separate races, right? Separate races, kind of like prison, right? Separate races for black people and white people. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Same. Yeah.
But that's not realistic in this country. It's not realistic in this country.
No.
Okay. I have been in the military. I've been commanded by white people, and I've commanded white people. Okay. So I think this shit can work as long as, and this thing in the military is like, you're not black, you're what? Yeah, there's little cliques, right? There's cliques and gangs and shit. What I'm saying is, like, diametrically speaking, there's not supposed to be any delineation from race. Okay. I've given orders to white people, I've taken orders from white people. If we can just get on board and just say, hey, we're all a fucking American. Okay. Stop looking down the street. Okay. You're in my car. You're in my car. We're driving down the street. Don't look at the bitch who's standing on the sidewalk. Look at who's in the car. You're white, you're black, you're Mexican, you're Hispanic, you're an American, you're in the fucking car. If we can get to that point, and I'm talking about, yes, not white nationalism, not white nationalism, not black nationalism. I'm talking about nationalism. If we can get to that fucking point, which I thought we were at some point, then we're good to go. And the point that we were the most nationalist was after 9/11. Nobody was talking about black, white, fucking Jew, fucking
That
Republican.
came later. Trust me.
Well, Hank, I said right after 9/11. No one was talking about black, white, Jew.
We're not talking about the people who
gay,
did it.
Straight. After 9/11, 9/11 was probably the most united. In my lifetime, all right, 1987 to now, in my lifetime, I've never seen this country more united after 9/11. And if we can get there again, that's the only way we'll survive. But we won't.
Well, I mean, just think about what you said, though. So a multiracial society, in order to have cohesion, requires some fucking Arabs to fly planes into buildings every 20 years. Like,
that's not what I said.
Like,
that's
not what the implication.
That's the implication, though, right?
Not what I said, though.
No, but there was a time when we were much more united as Americans. Maybe it was after World War II or before the Vietnam debacle. There was a time when people thought of themselves, not necessarily, I think, in terms of their racial group. There was.
It's not sustainable. It never lasts.
That's not true. That's not true. I tried to make this point like 10 minutes ago. It's not that we were quote unquote, oh, we're more American post World War II. No, we were more white post World War II. So that's why people felt more American, because white and American are synonyms.
Perhaps, but I would bet even in the black community, there was much more a feeling like that they were Americans. That's why they fought in the Second World War,
Maybe, but
white and American are synonyms?
Yes. fundamentally.
Yes. Please explain, sir. Please explain.
Simply put, America or Canada, Australia, New Zealand are the products of white people. Simple.
Are you talking about South America, North America, like Central
No, just
America?
United States.
United States.
Yeah, like Britain, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, Canada.
Britain. The prime minister was like a fucking Muslim.
Yeah, for the same reason why our prime minister was, or why our president was black, because of changing demographics and shit like that. But
Sounds like white weakness.
But point being, like, America, like what is America to you? Is it an economic zone, a geographic location? Like, what is it?
It's not an idea.
It's certainly not an idea.
Oh shit! Can I answer the question?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, America. What is America to me? America is being able to tell people to fuck off, being able to own a gun, being able to have any job you want as long as you are qualified for that job. Being able to travel, fuck white women, which I love doing.
On a boat.
On a fucking boat. America, other than the IRS, because taxation is theft, America is freedom. And I never felt more free than in my own country. I'll give you an example, okay? When I go to other countries, I can't have my guns, even though I love Thailand. I'm going to retire there one day, but I can't have my guns. I can't even have a knife there. Like, I've been to countries where you can't even, Singapore. I can't even smoke in Singapore, bro. I can't spit gum on the sidewalk. That's what America is. There was a dream.
Wait a minute. Why would you do that?
What?
I got to stand with the. I got to
Why do I
stand
do
with
what?
the on spitting gum on the sidewalk.
Why do fucking stop playing?
That's
Anyway.
exactly what happens. We create a paradise where you can do almost anything, and people want to spitting gum on the sidewalk. Man, I lived in New York and I hated it, man. It just every sidewalk is just like a leopard print of people's gum.
So anyway, what I was saying was that
But that's your America, and that's okay, man.
No, that's the thing, though. Look, hey, bro, that's the great thing about America, right? Because if I'm walking down the street, I spit my gum on the sidewalk. All right, hang on, that's my camera. I'm walking down the street, I spit my gum on the sidewalk. You're walking behind me. You say, "Hey, bro, pick up your gum." I turn around and say, "Hey, fuck you," and then you attack me and I shoot you. That's America. That's America.
Freedom of speech.
Okay, so I mean, basically, you just described, an economic zone.
Did I though?
Where you can do stuff.
Where you can do stuff. Yeah, that's basically what you said. You didn't describe any like racial character, any sort of national character, any like kind of spiritual nature of the nation. I bet you, if you went to Israel and you asked people, "Hey, what's Israel?" They wouldn't say, "Oh, here's the collection of the various laws and things." They'd be like, "No, this is like a people. This is a heritage. This is like," they would have
blood and soil.
Blood and soil, yeah, basically blood and soil.
I think he was talking about just not economics as much as a freedom.
Right.
Freedom to spit your gum on
the Constitution.
Sure.
Freedom's protected by a Constitution.
Sure. And none of those things exist in non-white countries in the same way. And that's not a coincidence. That's my point.
Sorry, you have no point, though, because what I'm saying is, like, I mean,
here's the point. Here's the point.
If I dug up George Washington and resurrected him, and we sat down at a table, you, me, and George Washington, and we were like, "Hey, let's talk about our rights." Okay, I'm sitting at a table, you, me, and George Washington. I say, "Hey, George, General George Washington, first president, let's talk about our rights." He would probably say, "Why is this nigger at my fucking table?"
Correct.
But
well, it's a reasonable supposition in his time.
What I'm saying is logic. That was a joke. Like, no one laughed at that.
I know.
Anyway, no one laughed at that. No one laughed at that. All right. Fuck you guys.
I was trying to think, what would George Washington say? I don't know.
What I'm saying is this, man. Like, I'm about freedom and America. There is a separation of church and state, and we'll have that conversation right now because you brought up Israel. Okay.
Yeah.
Israel. The only reason Israel is Israel, okay, is because of you good white people, fighting for them and whatnot, based on the Constitution that they swore an oath to. So what I'm saying is, like, you're bringing up, you're actually saying, like, why doesn't Burger King sell pizza while Pizza Hut sells shitty pizza? It's a non-equivalent right now. So I'm gonna ask you to ask me a question right now, and I'm gonna answer it. Just one question.
Okay.
I have a question. What are the roots of America?
I don't fucking know. Ask the fucking Inuits or the
roots are, basically
Of the United States.
I like to think of them as more of the soil than the roots.
Well, hang on. The roots, as in like physical roots, philosophical roots, religious roots.
Well, earlier you
roots.
said that a plant needs roots. So, in whatever you thought about the plant needing roots.
Okay, yeah, I said that. Okay, so the roots of America. Okay, so roots, we got that foundation, right? America, what is America? Physical, political, what?
Well, I would say that
You're asking me. I asked you.
Well, I have a good
No,
answer.
I understand your question. I'm just trying to clarify it so I can give a good answer.
Like a country.
All three of those things, yes.
I just literally asked for one question, sir.
I didn't hear it, so sorry. You got to repeat it.
Well, he asked what the roots were of this.
What are the roots of America?
Okay,
yes.
God, I went on a whole tirade about that. All right, I'm gonna give a really quick answer. Freedom. That's the roots of America.
Okay. And so, if that's the case, then why doesn't other countries with other ethnic majorities look that way?
Look what way? Look what way?
Have freedom, as you say, or other things that America has that you like, basically.
For example, why China, being sort of a presumptively homogeneous population, why does their existence look so different from ours in terms of freedom? Why? What was unique about America and its roots that created a place where you have such freedoms?
Yeah, okay.
That's a good elaboration. Thank you.
I would say the Civil War.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
That's not how that works.
No, hang on. No. You asked me a question. I gave you my opinion. So
the roots are the beginning.
Yeah.
The very essence.
So the essence, the Apache.
What else could it be?
Yeah, the Apache, the Comanche, the Chickasaw, the Cherokee. That's the roots, right?
No, because what in a, of course not, because those people existed in America before Britain came to America, right? And it's not a coincidence that when they were the majority of the North American continent, it didn't look fucking anything like how it looks.
That's kind of why I asked the question.
Came.
That's why I asked the question. Are we talking about physical, continental roots, social roots, political roots? Like that's why I asked the question. I asked the question multiple times.
I would say all of them. They're kind of
all of
the
them.
same thing here. Yeah.
It's not, though, because I brought up the tribes that were here before America. So,
yeah.
All right, how about this? I'm gonna do you guys a favor. Let's say 1776. All right, and going on. So, what are the roots of America? Okay. All right, freedom. Okay, you asked me, why don't other countries have freedoms? I will say this: because of the Civil War, and here's why. Because you had a political shift, you had a regional shift, a continental shift, and America went to war on that. And it was so fucking horrible, so fucking bloody. I'm talking about, it's not people in the open field. We're talking about urban warfare. That was actually one of the first wars we ever fought, where people were fighting in houses, buildings, governments. It's not on a field. Everyone just stands up. They got their rifles. They take a knee. No, it was the bloodiest war we've ever fought on this continent. And people realized, and that's why it's not happening again, and why it's not going to ever happen again, because people realize that if Americans fight Americans, shit gets real. Okay, that's why we have the Second Amendment. That's why the ATF, the government, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, no one's coming for your guns, bro, because they know what time it is. So you asked me why I love this country.
But we had the Second Amendment from the 1776 Revolutionary War happened before the Civil War. That also was our
and
roots.
motherfuckers died to enforce it. They tried to take the guns from the South. It didn't work out. I feel like I've answered you guys' questions. I mean, if anyone's got another question, I'm here.
Well, so basically, what
No, I
you're
appreciate
saying,
it.
Basically, what you're saying is that race has nothing to do with a country.
That's kind of the
That's
elephant
basically
in
the
the room, I
question.
guess.
Like, if you truly believe
No,
that,
no,
it's
no, no,
kind of
no,
crazy.
no, no,
but-
no, 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 no. You said that was a statement. That was not a question. What is your question?
Do you think that America looks the way, acts the way, has like the spirit that it has?
The United States of America.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you
go ahead.
think that there is a causal relationship? In other words, it looks the way it does because of the DNA and the genetics of the people who founded it. And that's why I kind of tried to point to other societies in the world and be like, hey, look.
Hang on, bro. Hang on. You just ask me the question. You're going into some other shit. Ask me the question. I'll answer your question.
Okay.
As best I can.
Okay.
I'm a sun man, though, so I'm kind of slow.
Okay. So do you think America is the way it is as a product of white people or not?
Yes.
Okay. So then we agree. Being
So
white
the
and
roots of
American is a
America
synonym.
are white.
Right, and therefore being white and American is a pretty big synonym then, isn't it?
You're well, I agree with the question you asked me, but you're adding shit. So the question you asked me, if I'm loosely quoting you, do you believe that America is the way it is because of white people? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, more specifically.
Okay. Oh, no, hang on. No.
Hold on.
No.
More specifically. No, hold on.
Shit.
More specifically, Anglo-Saxon white people, British Islander white people.
Okay. So the answer is yes.
Right.
But can I? Okay. So I answered your question, right? We agree on that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm basically making the claim that DNA, race,
I didn't
genetics.
ask for that, bro. I'm just trying, bro. I just want you to ask me a question, and I'll answer it. So, like, I feel like I answered your question. You're trying to add shit.
Yeah, that's how it works. You ask follow-up questions.
Yeah,
No, that's not how that works.
Pretty
if I ask you what is 2 + 2, and you say 4, and then I want to ask another question, I don't want him to say what 5 + 5 is. Like, that's not how discussions work. That's how math works.
Do you really see what he's saying? Is that like intangible, or it is related?
I'm okay. All right. So okay.
He's not coming out of left field here.
All right, bro. Can I ask you a question?
Please,
yep, go for it.
Yeah,
Right,
I think you get. I think we get into.
Bro, give me 30 seconds, please, bro. Okay, sir. Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
All right. Are you a white man?
I'm a glider. Yes.
You are a glider. Okay. Do you have children?
No.
All right.
Nope.
Have you ever fucked a woman?
Yes. Why does
What's
this
her
matter?
name?
Yeah.
What's her name?
What's my name?
What? No. What's the name of the woman you fucked?
Why do I have to tell you this? Where is this going?
Is she fat?
No.
Did she give you an STD?
No.
Does she have a good credit score?
Okay.
Why you start talking like this when Ock came back?
Yeah, can you just get to the
I
question?
didn't start. I'm
going?
making an example, bro, because you ask a stupid ass question. No, not stupid ass question. You asked a question, and you gave me an answer, and I went into some other shit that was completely unrelated to the original question.
All right. Well, let's. It was cool when it started, but now it's getting to be.
Yeah, I tried. I thought I was asking like pretty simple questions in good faith.
No,
yeah.
you were. I'm good, bro. I mean,
salute to everybody out there, man. Same black time, same black channel. Out of here. Peace out.
Hey, salute y'all. It's all love, man.